Chapter 3266. Luo Shuang and the Crown Prince of Great Luo were in their own super battleship. Their super battleships had not been destroyed, but they were starting to panic. Especially Luo Shuang, because she had brought 5 super battleships with her. If they could break into the Vermilion Bird's treasure land, it wouldn't matter even if they lost them. At least, it would prove that she had tried her best and the result wasn't bad. If she couldn't break through the Vermilion Bird Treasure Ground's barrier, all the super warships would be shot down, and her mission would be a complete failure. Previously, when she attacked the Vermilion Bird Treasured Land, she successfully broke through the barrier and even planted many of her soldiers in the treasured land. She even placed many of those giant balls that were used to set up a great formation. Could be said that she was very successful. However, after Qin Yun arrived at the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land, all of her arrangements were destroyed. Moreover, her attack on the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land this time was not as smooth as before. At that moment, she finally understood how Xian Qingning and the Crown Prince of Zenith Luo felt when facing Qin Yun. Despite knowing that Qin Yun was very strong, he always held on to a sliver of hope, believing that he could defeat Qin Yun. However, after sensing Qin Yun's strength, he felt a sense of helplessness. The godly monarchs of the divine wilderness were not people that juniors like them could shake. Previously, she did not believe that a god monarch like Qin Yun would be able to accomplish anything in the sacred land. But now she believed it. The divine king's order might really descend upon the entire Nine Sun sacred ground. If the various powerhouses in the Nine Sun sacred ground did not join forces to eliminate Qin Yun, they would be punished by the godly monarch order sooner or later. The death of General Bingyang was just the beginning. The exalted celestial emperor hadn't made a sound since General Bingyang's death, so no one knew what he was feeling right now. All he knew was that the exalted celestial emperor would never bow his head to Qin Yun so easily. It was only a matter of time before the great Luo Empire attacked Qin Yun. Boom! Boom! Qin Yun shot out 2 more Divine Sun nuclear bombs and hit one of the super warship. Star God summoned 2 stars to descend and hit the slightly smaller super warship. Another super battleship was smashed down by 2 huge fiery blue stars. At this moment, there was also news on the Magic Mirror platform, saying that it was the star god of the divine court of the myriad realms. Qin Yun was a godly monarch, a supreme overlord of the divine court of myriad worlds. This time, it was Qin Yun who led the gods of the divine court of myriad worlds into battle. As soon as the divine court of the myriad realms made a move, 2 super warships were destroyed in the blink of an eye. The strength of the divine court's deities was quickly spread like wildfire. Many people present thought that the divine court of myriad realms had sent out many powerful gods. In fact, there were only the god chief and a few powerful gods. However, this was enough to stop the 7 super warship. Princess, let's retreat. The 2 super warships that were lost now belong to us. The Crown Prince of Daluo did not lose a single warship. It's meaningless for us to continue attacking. We won't be able to break through the Vermilion Bird Treasure Ground. Instead, we'll continue to lose super warship. An old man from the Wang Tiange felt a heartache. Previously, he had thought that they would at least be able to break through the Vermilion Bird Treasured Ground's barrier, allowing the Daluo Empire's reinforcements to enter. But now, with the dragon turtle guarding the Vermilion Bird Treasured Land and Qin Yun attacking their super warship, they could only take the beating. Luo Shuang had already made her stance clear. At this critical juncture, she would not retreat. However, if they continued, they would suffer more losses. This was not a wise decision. Your father already understands your intentions. If you continue to persist and cause more losses, your father will think that you are foolhardy. The Wang Tiange elder added, "We have lost 2 super warships. The Crown Prince of Daluo's side will likely suffer losses as well. If we suddenly retreat, they will become our next target." Retreat. Luo Shuang immediately gave the order. The Wang Tiange elder was secretly delighted. He immediately relayed the order. Luo Shuang's remaining 3 super warships suddenly flew away rapidly, charging into the sky and flying in 3 different directions. They're actually retreating. Star God was somewhat surprised. He asked, Little Yun, there are still 2 more super warships. We have to shoot down at least 1 more. Qin Yun fired another 2 Divine Sun nuclear bombs. The Crown Prince of Daluo cursed Luo Shuang inwardly. She did not even inform him of their retreat, allowing their super warships to suddenly become a target. Now, the Crown Prince of Daluo also wanted to retreat. However, as the super warships were flying away, one of them was suddenly struck by 2 Divine Sun nuclear bombs. It suddenly slowed down and lost its balance. In order to stop the super warship, Qin Yun immediately fired another Divine Sun nuclear bomb to buy time for the falling star. The Crown Prince of Daluo's avatar was inside the super warship. He cursed inwardly. After the violent explosion, the super warship could no longer fly at high speed. It even lost its balance and floated in the air. Following that, 3 huge blue fiery stars fell one after another, smashing the super warship into the ground and causing another violent commotion. Go! The Divine Judge raised the All Heavens Divine Punishment flag and charged at the crashing super warships. Xie Wufeng, Thunder God, Battle God, Fire God, and Long Yuqin also charged over. They were mainly targeting the powerful warriors on the super warship. Following that, the Phoenix Kingdom, the Vermilion Bird Race, and the All Heavens Dragon Race also sent out their armies to surround the super warships. The warriors of the Phoenix Kingdom and the Vermilion Bird Race showed no mercy. Many of their comrades had been killed by the army led by Luo Shuang. Although the super warship was not completely destroyed, it was already cracked and the situation inside was terrible. The little Divine Sun core inside was very unstable. Furthermore, the energy from the impact of the stars on the super warship was extremely violent and affected the people inside. Most of the warriors that came out of the super warship were injured and in poor condition. Furthermore, there were very few warriors wearing powerful armor. They could not deal with such a large army. After all, they were outside the Vermilion Bird treasured land. They had fallen at the doorstep of the Phoenix Kingdom and the Vermilion Bird Race, and were heavily injured. Their fates were obvious. Qin Yun waited patiently for more than an hour before he saw the Phoenix Queen capture the Crown Prince of Daluo. However, the Crown Prince's avatar had already lost consciousness. He must have cut off contact with his main body to prevent himself from being captured and tortured by Qin Yun. Even if it was an avatar, Qin Yun took out his saber and beheaded the Crown Prince on the spot. He even posted the process on the Magic Mirrors platform, letting everyone know that the Crown Prince had sent an avatar. Although it was a little cowardly, everyone felt that it was the right thing to do. Otherwise, his main body would have been captured and beheaded. Qin Yun did not have any hopes of capturing the Crown Prince's main body. He already knew that the Crown Prince was an extremely cowardly person. Only by killing his way into Daluo Imperial City could he destroy the Crown Prince's main body. That would be even more challenging for Qin Yun. I should have already served as a deterrent, right? Then I can start preparing for the birth of the 9th Divine Sun. Qin Yun looked up at the sky. The 9th Divine Sun was about to be born. When the time came, the 9 Sun Divine Maiden would gather in it. He had to go. Chapter 3267. The 9th Divine Sun was something the Cosmos Gods had to fight for. Moreover, it was the Cosmos Gods who had led many new human forces to fight for it. Even with the protection of the 9th Divine Sun, the 9 Sun Goddess might not be able to defeat such a powerful force. Therefore, Qin Yun had to become stronger before that happened. Only then could he fight against the other forces. The Zenith Luo Empire had sent General Bingyang, but he had failed in the end. The major forces in the 9 Sun Sacred Land now knew that Qin Yun was very terrifying when he got serious. The Zenith Luo Celestial Emperor had not said anything after General Bing Yang's death, nor had he released any information to the outside world. However, the powerful races and major forces in the Nine Sun Sacred Land believed that the Zenith Luo Celestial Emperor would definitely take revenge. It was only a matter of time. Qin Yun was not worried about the Zenith Luo Empire's revenge in the short term because he knew that the Zenith Luo Celestial Emperor would focus on the birth of the ninth Divine Sunday. If he had used too much power to deal with Qin Yun, he would have fallen behind the other empires after the birth of the ninth Divine Sunday. Luo Shuang had already retreated, but it was still very lively outside the Vermilion Bird treasure ground. The Huoling Empire's crown prince and others were being violently attacked by the Dragon Turtle King. The Tai Xian planet, a Taisher force, had a good relationship with the Huoling Empire. They did not stand idly by and tried to rescue the crown prince and others. However, the Vermilion Bird race, the Phoenix Kingdom, the Nine Dragon Kingdom, the Exotic Cat Kingdom, and the White Tiger race all joined in and immediately suppressed them. This battle was very important, so most of the allies of the Divine Court of Myriad Realms had come. This was their territory, after all. There was no advantage in fighting at their doorstep without preparation. If that idiot dies, then so be it. Let's retreat. Xian Qingning was also present, but she did not participate. Her elder brother was the one commanding the reinforcements. Seeing that the enemy was too strong, he could only let his people retreat. If this continued, they would all be wiped out. Just like that, the previously aggressive Crown Prince, Huoling, was captured. He was stronger than the Crown Prince of Zenith Luo in one way. Because of this, he was captured. The news quickly spread throughout the Divine Wilderness. Everyone thought that the Luo Empire hated Qin Yun to the core. They never expected that Huoling Empire's crown prince would also fall into Qin Yun's hands. Now, everyone guessed that the Huoling Empire and Zenith Luoling Empire would join forces to attack. Qin Yun wanted to kill Crown Prince Huoling in the Vermilion Bird treasure land. Prince Huoling often brought people outside the Nine Sun Sacred Ground to invade the strong clans to carry out so-called trials and kill a large number of strong clans outside the sacred ground. The Myriad Realms' Divine Court's ability was limited. Every time they rushed over, they could only save a few. The Divine Court of the Myriad Realms had always remembered this. Except for Prince Huoling, the Divine Court of the Myriad Realms kept a record of what the other forces of the Holy Lands had done outside. When they were strong enough, they would take revenge one by one. Luo Shuang had learned from the magic mirror that Crown Prince Huoling had been caught. She still had a lingering fear. If they had been slower, they might have fallen into Qin Yun's hands. After this battle, she no longer dared to think about using her own strength to fight against Qin Yun. Furthermore, she now understood why the Crown Prince of Great Luo was so timid when facing Qin Yun. Because even she began to feel an indescribable fear towards Qin Yun. The most terrifying thing was that she knew that Qin Yun would definitely take revenge. If she was not strong enough, she might have been caught by Qin Yun. The Crown Prince of Great Luo knew that his status would definitely fall in the future. Although no one would laugh at him for using a doppelganger, in the eyes of his father, the 4 kings and 9 generals, he was a coward. After all, Luo Shuang was not as timid as he was. Damn Qin Yun, you have been in the limelight this time, but you are completely finished. You killed General Bing Yang. Father will definitely not let you off. Now that you have caught Crown Prince Huoling, the Huoling Empire will definitely take revenge on you. The Crown Prince of Great Luo hid in the Great Luo Imperial City. He only hoped that Qin Yun would be killed quickly. Otherwise, he would not be able to rest in peace. It was not only the Crown Prince of Great Luo who was afraid of Qin Yun. All the strong clans and other forces in the Nine Sun Sacred Ground were more or less terrified when they learned that Crown Prince Huoling had been caught. Qin Yun, the Divine King, had finally entered the sacred ground. As soon as he entered, he became enemies with 2 powerful empires. He had even captured the crown prince of the Hualing Empire and killed a strong general of the great Luo Empire. Would his wind of order eventually sweep the entire Nine-Sun sacred ground? Everyone was very concerned about how the Nine-Sun sacred ground would resist. Of course, what made the major forces in the sacred ground feel more at ease was that they still had the backing of the cosmos gods and the new beginning humans in the camp of the barbarians. The new beginning humans of the barbarians were a very terrifying force. Even the four great empires and the Taisher forces did not dare to casually start a war with the barbarians. Qin Yun was with Phoenix Queen in the Phoenix City of the Vermilion Bird Treasure Ground. Today, he would try to help Phoenix Queen break her sealed inherited memories. In a quiet underground chamber in the Phoenix Palace, Phoenix Queen was wearing a loose phoenix robe. Her long hair draped over her shoulders. She sat on a chair and leaned back in a relaxed manner. She looked at Qin Yun, who was in front of her. Qin Yun was also looking at the beautiful Phoenix Queen. This was the first time he had seen the Queen let go of everything. At this moment, she had lost some of her majesty and domineering aura. Her elegant and moving side was revealed. There was a very spiritual charm to her. This reminded Qin Yun of Yushang Yun. This powerful empress seemed to be like this when she was gentle to him. When I first saw Tian Shixiang, I could not understand why she was willing to be with you. Later on, I gradually understood. Phoenix Queen said. She and I have also experienced many ups and downs before we can truly be considered to have come together. Qin Yun smiled and said, Queen, did you once look down on me? It's not that I look down on you, but it's because Tian Shixiang and I are both goddesses of the nine heavens. I just feel that a woman like her wouldn't casually find a man. A gentle smile appeared on Phoenix Queen's face. I suddenly want to hear your story with her. You should ask her. Qin Yun took out the divine mirror of absolute beginning and said, You have to release your soul. I want a complete soul. Sure. I trust you completely now. If it was in the past, I wouldn't have done this at all. After the Phoenix Queen finished speaking, she opened her palm, and a small phoenix gradually appeared. What surprised Qin Yun was that this phoenix was not illusory and was not condensed from some kind of energy. When he caressed it with his hand, he could feel that the feathers of this little phoenix were very soft. Your soul is so powerful, it has even condensed a physical body. Qin Yun shone the divine mirror of absolute beginning. I was born with this powerful soul. Phoenix Queen sighed. This was passed down to me by my mother. I won't hurt you, Qin Yun said. If you can undo the seal, you will be able to obtain the inheritance of the universe's law spirit. Then your strength will increase by a lot, and at that time, I will need you to help maintain the order of the divine desolate. Chapter 3269. Phoenix Queen was holding the little phoenix in her hand. At this moment, she seemed somewhat restless, indicating that her soul was unable to completely relax. What's wrong? Qin Yun wanted to use the divine mirror of primal beginning to investigate, but because the little phoenix was rather irritable, it was impossible to proceed. Phoenix Queen frowned slightly and shook her head. I don't know what's going on either. I tried my best to relax, but it's still like this. Qin Yun could only reach out and caress the little phoenix formed from his soul. He wanted to try and see if he could pacify the Phoenix Queen's soul. When he caressed it, the little phoenix calmed down a little, but it was still unable to completely relax. Is it not time yet? Qin Yun sighed softly. God King, it's not that I don't trust you, it's just that I don't seem to be prepared yet. I don't know what's going on either. Phoenix Queen trusted Qin Yun, but for some reason, her soul felt restless and uneasy. How can I continue? Qin Yun was also thinking of a way. Old Brother Taisher transmitted his voice to Qin Yun and said, Her heart is still filled with vigilance towards you. Let's put it this way, her strength is inferior to yours and now she wants to completely hand her soul over to you. This is an instinctive reaction. Queen, this should be your instinctive reaction. It's a subconscious self-protection. Try it again, Qin Yun said with a smile. The smile on his face was to make the Phoenix Queen even more relaxed. Phoenix Queen nodded gently and closed her eyes. However, her soul that had turned into a little phoenix was still trembling slightly. Old Brother Taisher said again, Qin Yun, maybe her mind is in a mess right now. In short, in her current state, it's impossible to help her remove the seal in her soul. After a while, Phoenix Queen opened her eyes and shook her head. She did not expect that her soul would have such a reaction at such a critical moment. Queen, I'm speaking the truth. If I've offended you, please forgive me, Qin Yun said. Please speak. Phoenix Queen nodded. Do you feel that I'm very dangerous and pose a great threat to you? Qin Yun asked. If that's the case, your soul won't be able to accept me. The Phoenix Queen was silent for a while. She first nodded, then shook her head. I'm not sure. In short, when I'm with you right now, I have an uneasy feeling. It makes my mood very chaotic, and I can't calm down. Could it be that you're more sensitive to danger because you're the Jiotian goddess? I am indeed a very dangerous person, but I will never harm you. Qin Yun was now in a dilemma. Your cultivation isn't high. Your powerful strength probably comes from your equipment. Phoenix Queen looked at Qin Yun's cap and said, This cap of yours makes me feel a little dangerous. The heavenly hat was a sun soul. It was indeed quite powerful. Qin Yun immediately took it off. He was still wearing the heaven-trampling divine boots, so he immediately took them off and kept them. How about now? Qin Yun asked. It seems to be a little better. The Phoenix Queen spread out her hands again and released her little phoenix soul. However, it was still the same. Looks like it really isn't time yet. Qin Yun could only give up. How about you take off your clothes and soak in the water? Phoenix Queen suddenly said. She didn't blush when she said this, as if she felt that it was nothing. Qin Yun's heart skipped a beat as he stammered. Is this appropriate? This way, I will feel much safer. It might make me feel that I can easily suppress you, Phoenix Queen said. Qin Yun was somewhat speechless. Actually, even if he didn't have any equipment, he would still be very strong. However, right now, Phoenix Queen was playing tricks in her heart. She always felt that he was covered in powerful equipment and that she couldn't defeat him. A woman like Phoenix Queen was born to be strong. This was also because she had never felt safe since she was young, so she constantly became stronger to obtain a sense of security. Qin Yun was the divine king of the divine desolate land. The strength he had displayed before was extremely powerful and could easily defeat and kill General Bing Yang. Therefore, in Phoenix Queen's heart, Qin Yun was very difficult to defeat. Unless Qin Yun didn't use any equipment, she would only be able to defeat Qin Yun. That's not good. Qin Yun felt somewhat embarrassed. I like to conquer the strong. If I meet someone I can't conquer, I will feel uneasy. Phoenix Queen stared into Qin Yun's eyes. Qin Yun's heart skipped a beat again. He didn't know what she meant by conquer. Divine King, you are only at the 8th level of the divine space realm. If you don't have anything on you, I won't be afraid of you at all. Phoenix Queen said again, then smiled faintly. What, are you afraid that I'll eat you? Of course not. Qin Yun coughed dryly and said, All right, I'll start now. He took out a large bathtub and placed it in the spacious secret room. Then, he took off his clothes and soaked in it. Phoenix Queen also walked over and entered the bathtub wearing a loose robe. Come, let's try again. She spread out her hands and released Little Phoenix's soul. Little Phoenix's soul didn't seem to be trembling so much anymore. Qin Yun immediately approached and took out the divine mirror of absolute beginning. Is this okay? Phoenix Queen felt very at ease at this moment. She didn't know why. I'm investigating. Qin Yun nodded. I'm still not sure if I can break that seal. Phoenix Queen's beautiful phoenix eyes stared at Qin Yun. Qin Yun also looked into her eyes. The two of them immediately fell into silence, but they didn't feel awkward. He took a light breath and felt that the fiery fragrance on Phoenix Queen's body was getting stronger and stronger. This made his heart pound. Qin Yun, that seal is very strong. I can't do anything about it. Old Brother Taisher suddenly sent a sound transmission to Qin Yun, pulling him back from his thoughts. Qin Yun was secretly alarmed. If Old Brother Taisher couldn't break it, then it would be very difficult. What's wrong? Phoenix Queen asked. That seal is very strong. Qin Yun put away the divine mirror of absolute beginning and said, I'll investigate again. This time I'll use my soul to take a look. As he spoke, he released his soul. His soul form was a very small black nether moon. Your soul is the nether moon? How did you cultivate it? Phoenix Queen said with some surprise. I cultivated it a long time ago. Qin Yun smiled and said, I'm going to start. He controlled the nether moon to the side of Little Phoenix and released a burst of powerful soul power that enveloped Little Phoenix. At this moment, he felt one of the pearls in his 9-Sun Divine Spirit move. There were 2 pearls in the 9-Sun Divine Spirit that had yet to be opened. One of them contained something that the Universe Law Spirit had left for him. It was this pearl that had moved just now. As Qin Yun's heart trembled, he immediately focused all of his mental power on the pearl of the 9-Sun Divine Spirit. When he probed this bead in the past, it was pitch black inside, and there was a strong resistance force resisting it. Now, he could see the inside of the pearl flickering with white light from time to time, and the resistance was still there. Chapter 3270. Phoenix Queen lightly nodded. Her heart was also filled with worry. She was very worried that the evil consciousness energy hidden in her soul would devour her. If Qin Yun was not by her side, once it flared up, it would be very dangerous and impossible to control. At that time, she might even cause damage to her own Phoenix Kingdom. Qin Yun, we can be considered friends now. When there's no one else around, you can just call me Feng. Phoenix Queen said, How long can your seal last? I'm worried that it will be broken. I'll help you check every once in a while, you don't have to worry. Qin Yun saw that Phoenix Queen was so worried and said, How about this, I'll make a tool for you to carry with you. If it really flares up, it can temporarily help you suppress that evil consciousness. Can you make it quickly? Phoenix Queen is truly worried because at this critical juncture, she really can't have anything happen to her. I'll start now. Qin Yun immediately took out 10 storage pearls and strung them into a bracelet. Then he took out 10 super-strength storing pearls and placed them inside as energy sources. Next, he took out 10 square stone slabs. These were all used to set up formations. They were not ordinary stone slabs, they were all fused with many precious materials and divine universe heavenly bones. When Zi Qingqing and Shui Tianzi had nothing to do, they would make many of these materials so that when Qin Yun needed them, he could immediately use them. Qin Yun carved heavenly rune characters on each of the 10 stone slabs and then placed them into the bracelet. Then, he connected them from the inside. Finally, he carved many auxiliary runes to make it more convenient for Phoenix Queen to use. After making it, Qin Yun told her how to use it. She quickly mastered it. In fact, she didn't need to use it, she only needed to wear it on her wrist. In fact, as long as it was refined by Qin Yun, Phoenix Queen would feel a lot more at ease. She had seen Qin Yun's level of inscription. Just now, she thought that she was finished. She didn't expect that Qin Yun's heavenly rune character would be able to seal that evil consciousness energy. I'm truly sorry that I couldn't let you obtain the inheritance you wanted. Phoenix Queen sighed softly. Right now, you really need a special method to raise the upper limit of your divine universe power at the 8th level of the divine universe realm. Only like this can you defeat even more powerful enemies in the future. I will definitely find a way. Qin Yun laughed and said, Feng, you go rest, I also need to rest properly. Phoenix Queen arranged for Qin Yun to go to a comfortable and spacious room while she returned to her room to rest. It is now nighttime. Qin Yun is in his room, concentrating his mental power and constantly pouring it into a pearl of the Nine Sun Divine Soul. This pearl was previously completely dark, but now, because of the Phoenix Queen's soul, it suddenly became extremely bright. Qin Yun informed Taisher of this change. There are 3 layers of enchantments inside this pearl of yours. The evil consciousness energy in the Phoenix Queen's soul has broken through the first layer. Old Brother Taisher said, if you investigate carefully, you should be able to sense the remnants of evil consciousness. Qin Yun exclaimed, is that so? I didn't even notice. Old Brother Taisher was considered a Dharma spirit. His psyche powers were much higher than Qin Yun's, so he naturally discovered it. Why did the evil consciousness of the Phoenix Queen's soul break through a barrier? Qin Yun asked curiously. There should be something inside this pearl that attracted her evil consciousness. That's why the moment she erupted, she first entered the pearl inside your Nine Sun Divine Soul. She discovered that she couldn't continue breaking the seal, so she wanted to control the Phoenix Queen to kill you. Old Brother Taisher said. Qin Yun recalled the situation back then. Phoenix Queen must have told him to run quickly because she knew that the evil consciousness wanted to kill him. Old Brother Taisher, didn't you say that the inheritance obtained from Taisher Nirvana City can help in opening this pearl? Qin Yun asked. This bead should contain the universe Dharma spirit. What could it be? Whether it is the pearl left behind by the universe Dharma spirit or the Nine Sun Dharma spirit, it is not easy to open. It has to be done slowly. Old Brother Taisher said, for example, right now, I can use heavenly rune characters to break through the barrier of the universe Dharma spirit's pearl. Can only break through 1 layer? Qin Yun is somewhat disappointed. 3 layers of barrier, Phoenix Queen's evil consciousness broke through 1 layer, I broke through 1 layer, the remaining layer will depend on you and Yuelon. Old Brother Taisher said. After Qin Yun finished dealing with the matter of the heaven's divine moon, he originally wanted to contact Xiao Yuelon, but he didn't have the time. Can we start now? Qin Yun said with smile. After you break through 1 layer of barrier, I will immediately go find Yuelon. I haven't seen her for a long time. Take out the Divine King Heavenly Seal. Qin Yun immediately took out the Divine King Heavenly Seal. The Heavenly Seal is slightly trembling. Old Brother Taisher is using the Divine King Heavenly Seal to create heavenly rune characters. He transformed many inheritances he obtained into heavenly rune characters, including the Yu-Clan Heavenly Talisman inheritance he obtained before. After he evolved and fused them, they became even stronger heavenly rune characters. Qin Yun still hasn't mastered the heavenly rune character used by Old Brother Taisher. He has mastered 3 heavenly rune characters, 1 is Seal, 1 is Defense, and the last one is Fire. How long will it take? Qin Yun is somewhat impatient. Daybreak will be good, about 3 to 4 hours. Old Brother Taisher said. Qin Yun is secretly astonished. Even Old Brother Taisher needs several hours to complete this heavenly rune character. It can be seen how complicated it is. Daybreak, a very complicated heavenly rune character, appeared on the surface of the Divine King Heavenly Seal. Qin Yun also can't understand it. Let's begin. Old Brother Taisher said. Qin Yun grabbed the Divine King Heavenly Seal and pointed it at the pearl of the Nine Sun Divine Spirit. A beam of light condensed on the surface of the seal and shot into the pearl. Soon after, he can feel that the inside of the pearl is exploding and violently shaking. Success, only the last barrier is left. This barrier is not something that can be broken with brute force. Old Brother Taisher said, contact Yuelon and ask her to help you. Xiao Yuelon has a 9 divine spirit in her hand. It was copied by Siekiru. It is said that it is exactly the same as Siekiru's 9 divine spirit. Qin Yun walked out of the room and went to the roof to release the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda to contact Xiao Yuelon. However, he saw Star God and Phoenix Queen together. The charming and beautiful Star God is very intimate with Phoenix Queen. She is holding Phoenix Queen's arm and walking towards Qin Yun's room. "Little brother Yun." When Star God saw Qin Yun come out, she delicately shouted, "We are looking for you, where are you going?" "I am going to call Yuelon over. I have something important to ask her for help." "What do you want from me?" Qin Yun asked. "The 20 giant spheres that Luo Shuang placed in the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land. Star God needs them. If you don't want them, I'll give them to her," Phoenix Queen said. "And give them to her?" Qin Yun nodded and said. Phoenix Queen still doesn't know the intimate relationship between Star God and Qin Yun, so she didn't directly give them to Star God. "You can really contact Yuelon? That's great, I haven't seen her for a long time." Star God ran over and pulled Qin Yun's hand. She even kissed Qin Yun's handsome face. Chapter 3271. The magic mirror was in the hands of the Empire and the Taisher factions. They often released many rumors to discredit Qin Yun. When Phoenix Queen collected information about Qin Yun, she did not believe those rumors. But now, she believes one thing is true: there are many women around Qin Yun. When she saw how intimate Qin Yun and the Star God were, she only secretly despised him in her heart and did not say anything. She had seen many situations like this. Her father, the Heavenly Emperor, was like this, and the women around him were not simple. They were all members of the upper echelon or relatives of Grand Prime organizations. Qin Yun went outside and released the 9 suns heaven-raising pagoda. He stood at the top of the pagoda and controlled the signal transmission. It can be transmitted to the 8 myriad realms divine suns in the sky. Xiao Yuelon can receive it. If she could reply, she would reply to Qin Yun very quickly. The Star God stood at the top of the pagoda and looked at the 8 myriad realms divine suns in the sky. He frowned and said, "Little Yun, the 9th divine sun is about to come out. What will happen to the divine wilderness in the heavens after that? I don't know. In short, after the 9th divine sun appears, the divine wilderness will not be peaceful," said Qin Yun. "Qin Yun, I want to cultivate a powerful divine Sunday." Tian Shixiang said that you have a way to help me. The Phoenix Queen said, "It would be best if I could be like General Bingyang and cultivate 2 divine suns in my body. If she could reach that level, she would no longer be afraid of the 4 kings and 9 generals in the future. She, the Phoenix Queen, might even be able to be promoted to the Phoenix Empress." "Sister Phoenix, you didn't manage to cultivate the divine sun? How is that possible?" The Star God was a little surprised. The Phoenix Queen also looked at the myriad realms divine sun in the sky. She had a look of fascination on her face as she said, "I'm not afraid of you guys laughing at me. I cultivated it before, but it wasn't ideal. It wasn't a good divine sun. Moreover, as my cultivation level regressed, I was unable to maintain that divine Sunday. I could only dissipate it. I hope to be able to cultivate a divine sun at the level of General Bingyang, but this is very, very difficult. Only the celestial emperors of those empires should be able to grasp the most perfect method." Of course, Qin Yun had a way, but he didn't know if it was suitable for the Phoenix Queen. Before he could answer the Phoenix Queen, the Star God rushed to answer. "Sister Phoenix, this is simple. You don't need Xiao Yun's help. Just find Su Xian. She cultivates a white godson, and over the years, she has a lot of experience in cultivating God Sunday. She can guide you." Star God said, "I'll provide the yang seed." "It's not that difficult," said Qin Yun. Zi Qingqing and Shui Tianzi both had sun seeds. The divine sun in Qin Yun's 9 sun divine spirit could produce a sun seed and be used to cultivate the divine sun. Then, the Star God pulled the Phoenix Queen aside and told her many things about Bai Suxin so that she could understand the White Sun Queen in advance. After the Phoenix Queen heard this, she was secretly shocked. She did not expect the Divine Moon Clan to have such an amazing woman. At that moment, Qin Yun received Xiao Yuelan's response. Xiao Yun, you did a great job with the Divine Moon of the heavens. The Divine Moon's little magic spirit contacted us, and said that it was all thanks to you. Xiao Yuelan's voice entered Qin Yun's mind. Yuelan, you said that you would tell me the inside story about the 9th Divine Sun after I'm done with the Divine Moons of Heavens. Can we meet? Qin Yun immediately asked with a voice transmission. Of course. I'm going to find you now. I'm going there quietly. Xiao Yuelan smiled and said, otherwise, if Yueme follows us, they will all know that we ran away. Qin Yun did not mention the matter of the 9 Sun Divine Spirit. It would not be too late to talk about it when Xiao Yuelan came down. Phoenix Queen could not wait to cultivate the Divine Sun. She first brought the Star God to take away the giant sphere, and then waited for Bai Suxin to come over. Bai Suxin was among the 4 Divine Suns. She used the teleportation formation to teleport to the Dragon Province, and then teleported back. Qin Yun's 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda is in the courtyard outside the Phoenix Queen's palace. Xiao Yuelan also teleported from the Divine Sun. She first went to the Dragon Province, which was changed from the Human Snake Treasure Land, and then to the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land. What surprised Qin Yun was that she had arrived together with Bai Suxin. Bai Suxin, the white-haired beauty, is also very happy when she saw Qin Yun. She is also somewhat surprised. Xiao Yun, your white divine sun is very strong. The white divine sun in Qin Yun's white sun pearl is Bai Suxin's sunseed, so Bai Suxin can sense it. Of course, I didn't mistreat it. Qin Yun said with a chuckle. If you have something to say, then take your time to chat. I'm going to find the Phoenix Queen. Bai Suxin said with a light smile. Star God brought her and was about to find the Phoenix Queen when she saw the Phoenix Queen personally come out to greet them. Xiao Yuelan is very happy to see the Phoenix Queen. She immediately went over to greet her. Although it is the first time they met, she is very familiar with her, as if she is seeing a good sister. Big Sister Queen, my time is limited. I won't talk for now. Let's wait for next time. Xiao Yuelan said with a smile. All right. The Phoenix Queen also smiled. Qin Yun immediately pulled Xiao Yuelan into the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda. He is indeed worried that there is not enough time because he still needs to open the final seal of the 9-sun divine spirit. Xiao Yuelan is wearing a purple dress. She looks a lot more lively. She is only like this in front of acquaintances. If she is an enemy, she would look like a cold and elegant killing god. Qin Yun and Xiao Yuelan hugged intimately for a while. Xiao Yun, I secretly ran out. Xiao Yuelan placed her hands on Qin Yun's cheeks. She is very reluctant to part. Her time is very tight. She has not reunited with Qin Yun for long, and she has to part with him. Her heart is filled with melancholy. Yuelan, what will happen if we go back later? Qin Yun is also reluctant to part with Xiao Yuelan. Then I won't be able to secretly provide information to you in the future. Xiao Yuelan playfully stuck out her tongue and said with smile. Sister Kiru doesn't want you to participate in the matter of the 9th divine sun, but I promised you that I would let you join. Qin Yun feels very helpless, he sighed and said. Why doesn't Sister Kiru want me to join? I clearly care about them very much. Not only Sister Kiru, Elder Sister Master and Sister Bingxing also don't want you to take any risk. They are doing this for your own good. Moreover, with our 9-sun divine maiden strength, it should be enough to deal with all kinds of dangers. Xiao Yuelan gently smiled. You actually don't need to worry too much. Qin Yun raised his hand and the 9-sun divine spirit appeared on his wrist. He asked, Yuelan, I want to break the seal of one of the pearls. I only need the last barrier layer. Xiao Yuelan and Qin Yun tried before, but they did not succeed. And Xie Qiru said that they need the cooperation of the 9 Yin divine spirit to be able to open the last 2 pearls. What do you mean, only need the last barrier layer? Xiao Yuelon curiously asked. Qin Yun simply explained about the pearl's 3 barrier layers. 2 of them have already been broken. Alright, let's begin immediately. Xiao Yuelon is also very much looking forward to the things inside the pearl. Although Xiao Yuelon's 9 Divine Spirit is a replica, it is exactly the same as the original 9 Divine Spirit. It was with her help that Qin Yun's 9 Sun Divine Spirit produced the Sun Heavenly Shield ability. Chapter 3272. Xiao Yuelon and Qin Yun clasped hands tightly. She transferred the power of the 9 Divine Spirit to Qin Yun, allowing him to draw it into the 9 Sun Divine Spirit. The 9 Divine Spirit's energy is very strange. Furthermore, after it entered the 9 Yang Divine Spirit, it immediately changed. Qin Yun channeled the energy into the 9 Sun Divine Spirit to attack the barrier. How is it? Xiao Yuelon asked. It's a little useful. Continue. Qin Yun said, I wonder why these 3 barriers were set up back then. Each barrier is so powerful. Furthermore, the first barrier was broken through by the Phoenix Queen's evil consciousness. Xiao Yuelon said, You will have to ask the 9 Sun Law Spirit. Back then, he and the Universe Law Spirit improved your 9 Sun Divine Spirit and even sealed something inside. She continued transferring energy to Qin Yun. Her 9 Divine Spirit had cultivated many things within it, so transferring it to Qin Yun would not cause any loss. Even if there's nothing, it doesn't matter. I need to break the seal on this pearl. I want to use this pearl to cultivate the Divine Yang. Qin Yun said with a smile, Only by cultivating a powerful Divine Sun within the 9 pearls of the 9 Yang Divine Spirit can I become even stronger. Xiao Yun, after the 9th Divine Sun is born, we don't know what will happen in the Divine Desolate Land. In short, it will definitely fall into great turmoil. Xiao Yuelon's face is filled with worry when she thought of this matter. Qin Yun extended his hand to caress her face and said, No matter what happens, I will protect you. Xiao Yuelon wrinkled her nose and said with a charming smile, It's more like it's our 9 Sun Divine Maiden protecting you. We don't need your protection. As long as the Divine Sons of the myriad realms remain, we, the 9 Suns Divine Ladies, will never perish. After the 9th Divine Sun is born, you will have to enter and seize control of it. Is it that simple? Qin Yun asked. The Cosmos Gods will also enter to vie for it. It will still be very dangerous for you. The birth of the 9th Divine Sun involves a very important matter. Once the 9th Divine Sun was born, the multiple universes would immediately merge, and the Divine Wilderness would become even bigger. At the same time, the 9 myriad realms' Divine Suns will become even more powerful. They will be the most powerful myriad realms' Divine Suns in the history of many universes. Xiao Yuelon's expression gradually turned serious. Qin Yun was unaware of this matter. He believed that the multiple universes had completely fused together. At that time, it will be known as the New Cosmic Era, and the ruler of the New Universe Era would be the universe's Law Spirit. The Cosmos God Race represents the Cosmos Law Spirit. The Cosmos God Race is able to obtain the strongest power at the first instant and then the new humans. Xiao Yuelon looked at the 9 Yang Divine Spirit on Qin Yun's wrist. She only hoped that Qin Yun could obtain formidable power from it. Only then would he be able to stabilize his position as Divine King in the New Universe Era. Then what about Grand Beginning Humans? Qin Yun asked. He was also a Grand Beginning Human. If the primordial humans want to have a place in the New Universe Era, they have to rely on themselves. The 9 Suns Law Spirit had failed to transform into a human, and the Law Spirit of the Cosmos would transform into a human when the 9th Divine Sun was born. He would personally lead the Cosmos God Race. What our 9 Sun Divine Maiden needs to do is to prevent the 9th Divine Sun from falling into their hands. We need to protect the core region of the ninth divine sun and wait for the nine sun Dharma spirit to transform into a human through the ninth divine Sunday. Qin Yun is very alarmed. The universe's Dharma spirit is actually transforming into a human. Moreover, the nine suns Dharma spirit had failed to transform into a human previously. Next, it would attempt to do so again through the ninth divine sun's core. Why does the universe law spirit want to turn into a human? Qin Yun said with a frown. This guy, why is he transforming into a human instead of being a universe law spirit? Because the law spirit has always been an existence of laws and order, so he is also bound by the laws he set. If he transformed into a human, it would be equivalent to giving up on everything. Then he would be able to do whatever he wants in the New Universe era. From then on, the New Universe era would no longer have any rules. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been unable to exterminate the Nine Suns Law Spirit. Xiao Yuelon said. Although the Law Spirit is powerful, it is restricted and can't directly take action. Qin Yun said with a frown. The New Universe era will be a new starting point. Moreover, this universe is basically set in stone. It will also produce the most powerful myriad realms divine sun and myriad heavens divine desolate. As long as one becomes the strongest ruler of the New Universe era, they will be able to dominate the entire universe. Xiao Yuelon nodded and said, That's exactly the case. That's why the universe law spirits made the cultivation of all living beings regress, including the universe law spirits themselves, in order to take back most of the energy so that after the universe law spirit transforms into a human, it can obtain this energy. If the Nine Suns law spirit also successfully transforms into a human, doesn't that mean that there will no longer be any order in the world? Qin Yun's face is filled with shock. What will happen then? There will no longer be heavenly punishment. There will be no distinction between good and evil. Whoever is strong will be righteous. As long as one is strong enough, no matter how much evil they commit, they will not be punished by heavenly punishment. Xiao Yuelon said, The myriad heavens divine desolate is the area where the living beings of the New Universe era live. If the universe law spirit transforms into a human, it will definitely be a calamity. The Nine Suns law spirit transforms into a human just to stop him? Qin Yun sighed and said, In that case, the appearance of the ninth divine sun is truly a great test for the myriad heavens divine desolate, and we are not prepared yet. Xiao Yun, the universe law spirit will transform into a human and enter the ninth divine sun. Although our nine suns divine maiden can stop him when the time comes, we won't be able to kill him. We won't even be able to kill the people he brought with him. I hope that when the time comes, you can go in and help us. At the very least, you can help us kill his capable subordinate. Xiao Yuelon said. Will the experts of the four great empires and the Taisha powers all go? Qin Yun asked. I don't know. Even if they come, we can block them outside the core region. But the outer region will definitely be occupied by them. Xiao Yuelon said. Suddenly, Qin Yun's nine sun divine spirit moved. The pearl is trembling. The barrier is about to be broken. Qin Yun is somewhat excited and shouted. Is that so? How much longer? Xiao Yuelon's face is filled with anticipation. Immediately, Qin Yun's brows wrinkled. He condensed the energy together and then broke through the barrier. Boom. The moment he broke through, Qin Yun's head is in extreme pain. Soon after, an incomparably evil aura surged out from the pearl. Xiao Yun! Xiao Yuelon screamed. How are you? Qin Yun's expression changed greatly. He shouted. Inside, what is sealed inside is an evil sun, I can't control it. He immediately let Yang Yang, Mo, Little Queen Ant and the other little guys come out. Zi Qingqing, Shui Tianzi and Ling Yuner are the last to come out. They also sensed that something is wrong with the Nine Sun Divine Spirit. What the hell is going on? Xiao Yuelon saw Qin Yun's pitch-black expression and hastily asked Ling Yun, Ling Yun and the others don't know what happened. When they came out, they saw that the divine universe purple sun inside the purple sun pearl is shrouded in black gas. At this moment, an evil laughter came out from Qin Yun's mind. The divine king that the Nine Sun Law spirit painstakingly nurtured was killed by me just like that. The Nine Sun Law spirit is still too inexperienced. The voice laughed loudly. Qin Yun, hello, I am the universe law spirit. Chapter 3273. Xiao Yuelan and Qin Yun clasped hands tightly. She transferred the power of the Nine Yin Divine Spirit to Qin Yun, allowing him to draw it into the Nine Sun Divine Spirit. The Nine Yin Divine Spirit's energy is very strange. Furthermore, after it entered the Nine Yang Divine Spirit, it immediately changed. Qin Yun channeled the energy into the Nine Sun Divine Spirit to attack the barrier. How is it? Xiao Yuelan asked. It's a little useful. Continue. Qin Yun said, I wonder why these 3 barriers were set up back then. Each barrier is so powerful. Furthermore, the first barrier was broken through by the Phoenix Queen's evil consciousness. Xiao Yuelan said, You will have to ask the Nine Sun Law Spirit. Back then, he and the Universe Law Spirit improved your Nine Sun Divine Spirit and even sealed something inside. She continued transferring energy to Qin Yun. Her Nine Yin Divine Spirit had cultivated many things within it, so transferring it to Qin Yun would not cause any loss. Even if there's nothing, it doesn't matter. I need to break the seal on this pearl. I want to use this pearl to cultivate the divine yang. Qin Yun said with a smile, only by cultivating a powerful divine sun within the 9 pearls of the Nine Yang Divine Spirit can I become even stronger. Xiao Yun, we don't know what will happen to the divine wilderness after the 9th divine sun is born. In short, it will definitely fall into great turmoil. When Xiao Yuelan thought of this matter, her face filled with worry. Qin Yun extended his hand to caress her face and said, No matter what happens, I will protect you. Xiao Yuelan wrinkled her nose and said with a charming smile, It's more like it's our 9 Sun Divine Maiden protecting you. We don't need your protection. As long as the divine sons of the myriad realms remain, we, the 9 Suns Divine Ladies, will never perish. After the 9th divine sun is born, you want to go in and seize control of it? Is it that simple? Qin Yun asked. The Cosmos God race will also enter the competition. It's still very dangerous for all of you. The birth of the 9th divine sun involves a very important matter. Once the 9th divine sun was born, the multiple universes would immediately merge, and the divine wilderness would become even bigger. At the same time, the 9 myriad realms divine suns will become even more powerful. They will be the strongest myriad realms divine suns in the history of multiple universes. Xiao Yuelan's expression gradually turned serious. Qin Yun was unaware of this matter. He believed that the multiple universes had completely fused together. At that time, it will be known as the New Cosmic Era, and the ruler of the New Universe Era would be the universe's law spirit. The Cosmos God race represents the Cosmos Law Spirit. The Cosmos God race is able to obtain the strongest power at the first instant and then the new humans. Xiao Yuelan looked at the 9 Yang Divine Spirit on Qin Yun's wrist. She only hoped that Qin Yun could obtain formidable power from it. Only then would he be able to stabilize his position as Divine King in the New Universe Era. Then what about the Grand Primes? Qin Yun asked. He was also a Grand Prime human. If the primordial humans want to have a place in the New Universe Era, they have to rely on themselves. The 9 Suns Law Spirit had failed to transform into a human, and the Law Spirit of the Cosmos would transform into a human when the 9th Divine Sun was born. He would personally lead the Cosmos God race. What we, the 9 Suns Divine Maiden, have to do is to prevent the 9th Divine Sun from falling into their hands. We have to protect the core region of the 9th Divine Sun and wait for the 9 Suns Dharma Spirit to transform into a human through the 9th divine Sunday, Xiao Yuelon said. Qin Yun is very alarmed. The universe's Dharma spirit is actually transforming into a human. Moreover, the 9 suns' Dharma spirit had failed to transform into a human previously. Next, it would attempt to do so again through the 9th divine sun's core. Why does the universe law spirit want to turn into a human? Qin Yun said with a frown. This guy, why isn't he properly being the universe law spirit? Why is he transforming into a human? Because the law spirit has always been an existence of laws and order. Therefore, he is also bound by the laws he set. If he transformed into a human, it would be equivalent to giving up on everything. Then, he would be able to do whatever he wants in the new universe era. From then on, the new universe era would no longer have any laws. Xiao Yuelon said. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been unable to exterminate the 9 suns' law spirit. Although the law spirit is powerful, it is restricted and can't directly take action. Qin Yun said with a frown. The new universe era will be a new starting point. Moreover, this universe is basically set in stone. It will also have the most flourishing myriad realms divine sun and myriad heavens divine desolate. As long as one becomes the strongest ruler of the new universe era, they will be able to dominate the entire universe. Xiao Yuelon nodded and said, Precisely so. That's why the universe law spirits caused the cultivation of all living beings to greatly regress, including the universe law spirits themselves, in order to take back most of the energy so that after the universe law spirit transform into a human, it can obtain this energy. If the 9 suns law spirit also successfully transform into a human, doesn't that mean that there will no longer be any order in the world? Qin Yun's face is filled with horror. What will happen then? There will no longer be heavenly punishment, there will be no distinction between good and evil, whoever is strong will be righteous. As long as one is strong enough, no matter how much evil they commit, they will not be punished by heavenly punishment. Xiao Yuelon said, Myriad Heavens Divine Desolate is an area where the living beings of the new universe era live. If the universe law spirit transforms into a human, it will definitely be a catastrophe. The 9 suns law spirit transforms into a human just to stop him? Qin Yun sighed and said, In that case, the appearance of the 9th divine sun is truly a great test for myriad heavens divine desolate, and we are not prepared yet. Xiao Yun, the universe law spirit will transform into a human and enter the 9th divine sun. Although our 9 sun divine maiden can stop him when the time comes, we won't be able to kill him. We won't even be able to kill the people he brought with him. I hope that you can go in and help us when the time comes. At least help us kill his capable subordinate. Xiao Yuelon said. Will the experts of the 4 great empires and the Taisher powers all go? Qin Yun asked. I don't know. Even if they come, we can block them outside the core region. Xiao Yuelon said, but the outer region will definitely be occupied by them. Suddenly, Qin Yun's 9 sun divine spirit moved and the pearl trembled. The barrier is about to be broken. Qin Yun is somewhat excited and shouted. Is that so? How long will it take? Xiao Yuelon looked at him with anticipation. Immediately. Qin Yun frowned. He gathered a surge of energy together and broke through the barrier. Boom. The moment he broke through, Qin Yun's head was in extreme pain. Soon after, an incomparably evil aura surged out from the pearl. Xiao Yun! Xiao Yuelon screamed. How are you? Qin Yun's expression changed greatly, he shouted. Inside, what is sealed inside is an evil sun, I can't control it. He immediately let Yang Yang, Mo, Little Queen Ant and the other little guys come out. Zi Qingqing, Shui Tianzi and Ling Yun'er came out last. They also sensed that something is wrong with the 9 sun divine spirit. What the hell is going on? Xiao Yuelon saw Qin Yun's dark expression and hurriedly asked Ling Yun. Ling Yun'er and the others don't know what happened. When they came out, they saw that the divine universe purple sun inside the purple sun pearl is shrouded in black gas. At this moment, an evil laughter came out in Qin Yun's mind. The divine king that the Nine Sun Law spirit painstakingly cultivated was killed by me just like that. The Nine Sun Law spirit is still too inexperienced. The voice laughed loudly. Qin Yun, hello, I am the universe law spirit. Chapter 3274. Qin Yun immediately controlled the Nine Suns heaven-raising pagoda and sent his perception through the bottom of the pagoda to the grand array beneath the vermilion bird-treasured land. This way, he could absorb the power of the four divine suns through the vermilion bird-treasured land. The Divine King Heavenly Seal is constantly absorbing energy from the Nine-Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda to maintain the Seal's energy and seal the Universe Law Spirit's consciousness inside the Evil Yang Pearl. The Universe Law Spirit only has a thread of consciousness. As long as he can seal this thread of consciousness, he can seal that Evil Yang. The Universe Law Spirit can burst out with great power through the Evil Yang and pose a great threat to Qin Yun. Ling Yun is very anxious watching from the side. She really wants to enter the Evil Yang Pearl and directly destroy the Universe Law Spirit's consciousness. Su Xin, go out with them and protect these little fellows. Qin Yun said. Sister Steamed Bun, Sister Tianzi, take care of Mo and the others. Let Phoenix Queen protect Lu. Malheur is very special now. She is inside the Nine Sun sacred ground. If Great Luo Empire sensed her, they might send people over. In this kind of situation, Zi Qingqing and Shui Tianzi cannot help at all, they can only bring Yang Yang and the others out. Bai Suxin is very worried. She cultivates White Divine Sun. She can sense that Qin Yun's Nine Sun Divine Spirit is releasing very strong Evil Yang energy. She knows how terrifying Evil Yang energy is. Don't worry, I can handle it. Qin Yun nodded at Bai Suxin. Don't try to be brave if you can't handle it, just say something, understand? Bai Suxin warned. Got it. Qin Yun squeezed out a smile. Very soon, only Qin Yun and Ling Yun'er are left. Qin Yun originally wanted to let Ling Yun'er go out, but she refused to leave and insisted on staying with Qin Yun. Xiao Yun, can you sense the situation inside the Nine Sun Divine Spirit? What about the other Divine Suns? Ling Yun'er is very anxious, she is pacing back and forth. Those divine suns have been contaminated by evil power, only nether suns are not affected. Qin Yun took a deep breath and said, as long as we can control the Evil Yang, the Nine Sun Divine Spirit can recover. Don't let that guy control all the divine suns, otherwise it will be very dangerous. Ling Yun'er gritted her teeth and said, there is such a dangerous thing inside the Nine Yang Divine Spirit. Why didn't the Nine Yang Law Spirit warn you? Because the Nine Yang Dharma Spirit also doesn't know. Back then, he thought that the Cosmos Dharma Spirit was doing this for my own good and left me a very important thing. I didn't expect that the universe's Dharma Spirit would start scheming against the Nine Yang Dharma Spirit from then on. Qin Yun said with a frown, thankfully, the Nine Yang Divine Spirit's beads are very strong. They have self-defense barriers. Can you really not control the Nether Sun? Ling Yun grabbed Qin Yun's wrist and said, let me enter the Nether Sun Pearl. This won't do. The Universe Dharma Spirit is obstructing my connection with the Divine Sun. I can sense the Divine Sun, but I can't control its energy. I don't know how he did it. He can't control those divine suns yet. Qin Yun is determined not to let Ling Yun'er in because it is too dangerous. Ling Yun'er's pretty face is filled with worry at this moment. Because she has been in the Nine Sun Divine Spirit for a long time and is very familiar with the Divine Sun inside. Furthermore, she was once the Nether Sun Tao Spirit, so she can sense that the situation of the Divine Sun is very bad. Although Qin Yun said that he is fine, Ling Yun'er doesn't believe him. Her feeling is telling her that with Qin Yun's previous strength, he would not be able to reverse the situation. In fact, Qin Yun is also not completely confident. Otherwise, he would not have asked Xiao Yuelan to go to the divine moon of heavens for help. He asked Bai Suxin and others to leave the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda because he was worried that they would be affected. Now only Ling Yun is here. She has followed Qin Yun for many years and Qin Yun has faced many dangers. Therefore, she is very clear about Qin Yun's confidence in dealing with danger. Xiao Yun, you should only have 30% confidence, right? Ling Yun asked. No, I have 50% confidence. Qin Yun tried his best to calm himself down. The Divine King Heavenly Seal is still releasing energy to suppress the nine-sun Divine Spirit's evil Sun Pearl. The universe's law spirit did not speak again, but the power it is releasing from the evil Sun Pearl is becoming stronger and stronger. The Vermilion Bird Treasure Land's great formation is frantically gathering the energy of the four divine suns. Then it gathered under the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda and poured it into the Divine King Heavenly Seal. This also caused the sky above the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land to be shrouded in a layer of light mist. The four divine suns also sensed that Qin Yun is in danger and the light mist became even stronger. The good times did not last long, the sky gradually darkened. 8 myriad realms divine suns gradually descended from the horizon, the sky became completely dark. At this moment, Qin Yun felt that the evil sun's power suddenly increased sharply. He will soon be unable to suppress it. At this moment, the myriad heaven's divine moon shot down an intense light mist that enveloped the entire Vermilion Bird Treasure Land. The star god's great formation has also been set up. It gathered a large amount of star god power and poured it into the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. Phoenix Queen and the others are watching from outside the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. They know that Qin Yun is in danger, but they do not know what kind of danger it is. Xiao Yuelan has already returned from the myriad heaven's divine moon. She wants to enter the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda, but she has already been sealed by Qin Yun. She is shouting and shouting outside, wanting to go in and help, but Qin Yun is ignoring her. At this moment, Qin Yun is facing a great crisis. If necessary, he must prepare for the worst. This won't do, the myriad heaven's divine moon's power is not enough. Ling Yun said, I can hold on until daybreak. Tomorrow is enough for me to seal this evil sun pearl. Qin Yun forced himself to calm down. There are still 10 to 20 trillion divine universe golden stones inside the Divine King Heavenly Seal. If it doesn't work, he can still extract the energy below the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land. In his opinion, as long as he can hold on until the 4 divine suns come out, he can win. However, Qin Yun still underestimated the power of the universe law spirit. The universe law spirit chuckled and said, Little guy Qin Yun, I have succeeded. The few divine suns inside your 9-sun divine spirit are already under my control. Are you ready? I want to defeat you in one breath. Qin Yun's expression greatly changed. He immediately probed the situation inside the 9-sun divine spirit and discovered that he can only sense the nether sun inside the nether sun pearl. He has lost contact with the other divine suns. Xiao Yun, cooperate with me later. After Ling Yun finished speaking, a black mist flew out from her head and entered Qin Yun's 9-sun divine spirit. Her body is still outside. Her body was originally refined by Qin Yun. Although she has cultivated her body to become very strong over the years, she can leave her body at any time when she needs it. Yun don't act recklessly. Qin Yun involuntarily shouted. His expression is filled with despair. He knew that the inside of the 9-sun divine spirit is very dangerous, so he did not let Ling Yun go in. He did not want to lose her. Xiao Yun, don't forget that I am your Tao spirit. I was born to suppress your evil. The evil of the 9-sun divine spirit will be suppressed by me. Ling Yun's voice came out, it is very solemn. She has already entered the nether sun inside the nether sun pearl. Chapter 3275. Qin Yun can only cooperate with Ling Yuner now. He doesn't blame Ling Yuner for taking risks because her mission is to protect his nether Sunday. Although Ling Yuner is usually very naughty, she is also very scary when she is serious. Moreover, she is not afraid of death at all. She is only afraid of losing Qin Yun, afraid that she will never be able to see Qin Yun again. Qin Yun forced himself to calm down and transmitted his voice to Ling Yuner. Yuner, what do you plan on doing next? How should I cooperate with you? I want to enter the evil Yang bead from the nether Yang bead. Ling Yuner said, I am inside the nether sun, it can distort space, I can go to the evil sun pearl from here. The nether sun inside the nether sun pearl can be said to have been bred by Qin Yun and Ling Yuner together. Therefore, Ling Yuner is very familiar with nether sun, and nether sun also recognizes Ling Yun. What happens after you enter the evil Yang bead? The consciousness left behind by the universe's Dharma spirit must be very powerful. Qin Yun said, You must not face him alone. I can use this hat. It can help me a lot. Ling Yuner said again, Xiao Yun, put the hat in for me. Qin Yun is indeed wearing the heavenly hat. Previously, he was afraid that the cosmos law spirit would attack his soul, so he wore it. Now, the evil Yang bead is suppressed by the Divine King Heavenly Seal and the universe law spirit's consciousness is unable to break out. Qin Yun is still safe. He immediately placed the hat into the nether sun inside the nether sun pearl to protect Ling Yuner's soul. Ling Yuner entered the nether sun pearl in the form of a soul, and the heavenly hat can be considered the sun soul of the nether sun. It can be of great help to Ling Yuner. The universe's Dharma spirit made countless calculations, but it missed me. I am an unexpected variable. If you want to defeat him, you have to catch him off guard. Ling Yuner said, I am preparing to enter the evil Yang bead. With that, she entered the evil Yang bead and cut off contact with Qin Yun. Qin Yun immediately perked up and told Brother Taisher about Ling Yuner's situation. Brother Taisher, you must protect Yuner. She is very important to me. I can't lose her. Qin Yun pleaded, If I lose her, I might go crazy. I'll try my best. Even Taisher was not confident. This made Qin Yun even more worried. Right now, he was unable to figure out the situation of the evil Yang bead. In order to contact Ling Yuner, he immediately used sun and moon shine together, erupting his divine cosmos force and pouring it into the evil Yang bead. Sun and moon shine together not only had divine cosmic force, but also a large amount of mental force. This is the power produced by the fusion of nether sun and nether moon. It is extremely powerful and directly penetrated into the evil Yang bead. After the energy entered, it dispersed a large amount of evil qi. Qin Yun immediately opened his celestial eye and saw Xieyang, who was releasing the black qi. Around Xieyang, there were purple, blue, white and gray energies. These were the energies of the Divine Universe Purple Sun, Heavenly Universe Divine Sun, White God Sun and Chaos Divine Sun. Xieyang was gathering the energy of many suns and strengthening himself. Soon, Qin Yun sensed Ling Yuner and the Universe Law Spirit's consciousness. He could clearly sense that there were two frightening soul forces fighting right now. Ling Yuner was fighting with the wisp of consciousness of the universe's law spirit. Brother Taisher, stop the seal and pour all of your energy into my body. Qin Yun also wants to participate in the battle because he discovered that the God King Heavenly Seal's sealing power is completely useless against the universe law spirit. The universe law spirit doesn't seem to be afraid of the God King Heavenly Seal's power. It means that the universe law spirit is very familiar with the God King Heavenly Seal. It knows that the strongest power of the God King Heavenly Seal comes from the bloodline Heavenly Pattern Box. It is impossible for the universe law spirit not to know about the formation of the bloodline Heavenly Pattern Box. Therefore, he is very familiar with the power of the Box. Maybe it was created by him. Qin Yun used sun and moon shine together to blast open a path inside the evil yang bead. He opened his celestial eye to see clearly. Old Brother Taisher can't see this point clearly. He is mainly controlling the God King Heavenly Seal and using the Heavenly Rune to seal it. This kind of seal is indeed very powerful, but it is not effective against the Universe Law Spirit's consciousness. Do you really want to do this? If you stop the seal, the Universe Law Spirit's consciousness will retaliate. Old Brother Taisher said. The Universe Law Spirit is very familiar with your power but not with mine. I want to use my power to suppress it. Qin Yun said. All right. Old Brother Taisher can only cooperate with Qin Yun. Qin Yun pressed the God King Heavenly Seal on his heart. His Imperial Heaven heart madly throbbed. He immediately operated the Imperial Heaven Divine Technique and urged his mental power. Heaven Extermination 9 Style, Moon's Separating Soul. Qin Yun placed his nether moon into the evil yang bead and used the Imperial Heaven Divine Technique to activate the Heaven Extermination 9 Style. Moon Separating Soul is a soul attack technique of the Heaven Extermination 9 Style. It was created by Yang Shiryu. Later, Qin Yun combined it with the Imperial Heaven Divine Technique to strengthen it. Moon Separating Soul uses the nether moon to attack and lets the nether moon extract the soul in an instant. After the nether moon entered the evil yang bead, although it became very small, as Qin Yun continuously poured in divine power, it gradually expanded. Now it is night time. Absorbing the power of the heavenly divine moon and stars can make Qin Yun's nether moon even stronger. Xiao Yun. Ling Yun Er's soul can sense Qin Yun. That guy is not very strong, we are evenly matched. I have already successfully stopped him from devouring other divine sons' energy. Leave the rest to me. Qin Yun said. Attack as much as you want, I have the protection of the heavenly hat, your power can't harm me. Ling Yun Er's voice arrived. The nether moon released by Qin Yun has already expanded to a very large size. With a thought, the nether moon that has expanded to a very large size suddenly deflated and started shrinking. And in the process of shrinking, waves of powerful mental energy burst forth, producing an extremely strange devouring force. At the same time, the Universe Law Spirit's consciousness and soul inside the evil yang bead are gradually being extracted. Qin Yun, you are indeed the person that the 9 Sun Law Spirit thinks very highly of, you are indeed very awesome. The Universe Law Spirit's voice transmitted into Qin Yun's mind and said with smile, I lost to you this time, but you will also not have a good time. Don't even think about self-detonating. Ling Yun Er's voice arrived and said angrily, Old thing, hurry up and die. It is unknown what Ling Yun Er did, but the Universe Law Spirit let out a furious roar, and then its consciousness was completely extracted from the evil yang bead. After the Universe Law Spirit's consciousness left the evil yang bead, it became extremely weak. Qin Yun directly used mental power to completely exterminate it. Ling Yun Er's soul also flew out of the evil yang bead and returned to her body. Qin Yun immediately hugged her and discovered that her mental state is not very good, she is very tired. Yun-er, how are you? Qin Yun kissed her charming face and pinched it. I am fine. A mere Universe Law Spirit is not my opponent. Ling Yun-er laughed and said, I am a bit sleepy now. Oh, that's right, how is the 9 Sun Divine Spirit? I still haven't seen it. Qin Yun placed Ling Yun-er on a bed and then went to observe the 9 Sun Divine Spirits' situation. Chapter 3276. The situation has stabilized. Yun-er, are you really okay? Qin Yun continued hugging Ling Yun-er. I'm really fine. I need to rest for a while. Ling Yun-er smiled at Qin Yun. The situation inside the 9 Yang Divine Soul had already stabilized. The spirit inside Xie Yang, as well as the Universe Dharma Spirit's consciousness, had been wiped out by Ling Yun-er. With the godly monarch Heavenly Seal sealing it, Xie was now in a dormant state. This Xie was still very strong, stronger than the other few divine sons in the 9-sun divine spirit. However, because it was too evil and inside Qin Yun's 9-sun divine spirit, the universe law spirit's consciousness was unable to completely control Xie. Otherwise, Qin Yun's 9-sun divine spirit would truly be in danger. Ling Yun was really tired and quickly fell asleep. At this time, Xiao Yuelan and Bai Suxin hastily entered the 9 Suns Heaven-Raising Pagoda. They also entered because they saw that the 9 Suns Heaven-Raising Pagoda was not enveloped by evil energy. Previously, Qin Yun had closed the 9 Suns Heaven-Holding Pagoda to prevent them from barging in so as to not endanger them. "Xiao Yun, how are you now?" Xiao Yuelan asked. She only roughly knew that the universe law spirit's consciousness was wreaking havoc in the 9-sun divine spirit. "I'm fine. That universe law spirit guy, what did he put in the evil yang bead? I have to find out." Qin Yun gently caressed Xiao Yuelan's face and smiled slightly. Xiao Yuelan saw Ling Yun sleeping on the bed beside her and hurriedly went over to touch her face. Seeing that she was fine, she felt relieved. "Sister Su Xian, I'm fine." Qin Yun smiled at Bai Suxin, then hugged her and Xiao Yuelan. Just now, he was almost killed by the universal law spirit and almost lost the chance to see his beloved forever. Soon after, the star god also rushed over. She had not put away the array yet. She had also sensed that the 9 Suns Heaven-Raising Pagoda was no longer absorbing energy through her array. That was why she had come down to take a look. "That's good." The star god heaved a sigh of relief. After that, Bai Suxin and Xing Xin continued helping the Phoenix Queen cultivate her divine Sunday Zi Qinqing, and Shui Tianzi brought Miller, Mo, and the other cute little fellows into the 9 Suns Heaven-Raising Pagoda. For the time being, Qin Yun did not allow them to enter the 9-sun divine spirit because those few divine sons still had evil aura that had not been removed. The Xie within the Xie bead had already been sealed, and the evil force that had invaded the other Xie beads was gradually weakening. Qin Yun already had 2 yang seeds, Xie and Mo yang. It was just that he had never found a good opportunity to create Xie and Mo yang. Now, he was inserting the Xie seed into the Xie in the Xie bead. Xie and Mo yang were very dangerous, but Qin Yun could suppress them, so he was not afraid. In addition, he could use these 2 types of energy very well. Especially when he entered the state of extreme evil, his strength would become even more powerful. Especially in the current situation where his cultivation was restricted to the 9th level of the divine universe realm. If Qin Yun could possess these 2 divine sons, then he would be able to use even more power. Through the godly monarch heavenly seal, Qin Yun injected the purifying powers into the pearls one by one. Soon, the evil powers of the other divine sons were purified. Finally, Xiao Yuelan entered the 9-sun divine spirit to confirm before allowing Zi Qinqing and the others to enter. The 9-yang divine spirit is already fine and Ling Yun has also woken up. Previously, she entered the Xie and killed the original yang seed of the Xie. Qin Yun placed a new yang seed inside and very soon, he will be able to completely control this Xie. Xiao Yuelan came secretly. She also has to return now. Xiao Yun, before the 9th divine sun appears, I will inform you. Even we don't know the exact time. Xiao Yuelan said, "When the time comes you must come." "I know." Qin Yun nodded and then kissed Xiao Yuelan goodbye. After Xiao Yuelan left, Qin Yun is alone in the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda. Next, he will fully control Xie. After controlling this Xie, he will be able to search the entire interior of the Xie bead. The interior of the Xie bead is very spacious and there is also a lot of land. The universe law spirit placed something inside. It should be very important, but he doesn't know where it is hidden. Qin Yun closed his eyes and circulated the Imperial Heaven Divine technique, allowing his mental power to continuously enter Xie Yang and strengthen the power of the Yang seed. He wants to let his Yang seed enter Xie Yang's core. Only then can he completely control Xie Yang. The vermilion bird treasured land has gradually calmed down. After being besieged several times, the vermilion bird treasured land still has not been breached. This also allowed the people in the treasured land to feel relieved. Myriad World Divine Court also began to send people to build large cities in the treasured land and then build teleportation formations in the cities. This way, the vermilion bird treasured land can gradually integrate into the Divine Court Alliance. At this moment, the Divine Court President is also presiding over a meeting, inviting the patriarchs outside the Holy Land to participate. At this moment, the big shots of the Divine Court Alliance are basically all present. Divine Moon Clan's Yushang Yun did not come because she is still in the Moon Heart. However, Divine Moon Clan sent Xiao Xianqin. Xiao Xianqin is the successor of the Divine Moon Clan's emperor. When Yushang Yun is unable to appear, she is the one to handle it. Although Qin Yun is a divine king, it doesn't matter if he doesn't appear. He rarely participates in the matters of Myriad World Divine Court. He only gives a general direction and then the Divine Court President and the others discuss it. The Divine Court Alliance's meeting is mainly to discuss cooperation and help each other against strong enemies. There is also the matter of Taishur Nirvana City's Nirvana. The heaven-splitting ancient clan sent Yulifan. There is also a Taishur historical site under their heaven-splitting treasured land. Currently, they suspect that it is a Nirvana city. Yulifan is very generous and invited his allies to go with him. However, he also said that the heaven-splitting treasured land is closely watched by empires and Taishur factions. There might be danger and they will need help when the time comes. Therefore, they began to discuss how to fight against the heaven-splitting ancient clan. Qin Yun is inside the Nine Suns heaven-raising pagoda, peacefully subduing Xie Yang. He no longer needs to worry about the Divine Court Alliance. After the battle in the Vermilion Bird treasured land, this alliance has matured and can trust each other. There is no lack of strong clans and powerful factions in the alliance. It can be said that there are many capable people. Even without his participation, the alliance can still hold its own. Unless the Divine Court Alliance faces many empires and Taishur factions, it will be very difficult to defeat the alliance. 2 days later, Qin Yun has completely subdued Xie Yang. The Nine Sun Divine Spirit finally has another powerful Divine Sunday. Although this Xie Yang is special and dangerous, he is very powerful. Qin Yun looked at the Nine Sun Divine Spirit. Ling Yuner is now wearing a sky hat, looking for the thing left behind by the Universe Law Spirit inside the evil Yang bead. Xiao Yun, I think that thing might be hidden in Xie Yang's core. But are you sure you want to find it? The Universe Law Spirit is very sinister. Aren't you afraid that he will trick you again? Ling Yuner asked. She is also worried now. Chapter 3277. Although the Nine Sun Divine Spirit is Qin Yun's, he rarely goes in. It is not that he cannot go in now, it is just that there is a certain amount of risk. Xie Yang is completely under my control. It no longer has the consciousness of the Universe Law Spirit. No matter how strong the thing he left behind is, it will not be able to create any wave. Qin Yun decided to enter the Xie Yang to investigate. But it is still dangerous. The Universe Law Spirit is too strong. Luckily it is only a strand of his consciousness this time. Ling Yuner is still very worried. Yuner, the thing that the Universe Law Spirit put inside must be very valuable, otherwise the Nine Sun Law Spirit would not have agreed. He purposely put something very valuable inside, that is why he could hide it from the Nine Sun Law Spirit. Qin Yun said. He cannot contact the Nine Sun Law Spirit now. He also cannot figure out what the Universe Law Spirit put inside, but according to his deduction, it must be very important. Alright, if you want to go in, I will accompany you. Ling Yun'er hugged Qin Yun's arm and pouted. All right, I will let Sister Steamed Bun and the others come out and wait outside the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda. Qin Yun said. He is also afraid that something might happen and cause the 9-sun divine spirit to be affected and implicate them. Zi Qingqing, Shui Tianzi and Malur brought the little guys out and waited outside the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda. They did not ask anything. Qin Yun placed the 9-sun divine spirit on the table and let them watch from the side. Then he entered the evil yang bead with Ling Yun'er. Qin Yun looked inside the evil yang bead from the outside. Although he can clearly see the situation inside, it is a different feeling after going inside. Inside the evil yang bead, it is like coming to a barren land. The sky is white and emitting white light. It is not dark inside the evil yang bead. There is a huge black evil sun hanging in the sky. The nether sun is also black, but it looks like a black bottomless hole. And the evil sun is a huge black crystal ball, its surface is flickering with black lightning, evil aura is spewing out, when it shines on the bottom, it also brings a strange kind of heat. The power of this evil sun is really scary, I wonder how it grew to this level. Qin Yun looked at the evil sun and clicked his tongue in wonder. Evil suns are very rare, even if there are, they are very small. Such a huge evil sun was even rarer than a nether sun. Xiao Yun, this thing has been subdued by you. Right now, it can be considered very gentle, but the power that it erupts with is still very violent. Ling Yun'er sighed. If it really exploded, the power can be imagined. Fortunately, it did not fall into the hands of the universe's law spirit. Come, let's enter the core and have a look. Qin Yun pulled Ling Yun'er and flew towards Xieyang. Soon, they landed on the surface of Xieyang, which was filled with black crystals. After passing through the thick crystal layer, he arrived at the core region. Though this Xieyang was huge, it was not as huge as the 1,000 realms godly sun in the sky. Hence, the godly sun's core was very small, about the size of a manor. The myriad worlds' divine sun had an outer region and an inner region. The outer region was huge and could accommodate a lot of people. The core area could even accommodate dozens of powerful races. Xieyang's core was empty, but there was a godly sun core in the middle. It was pitch black and very small. If there really is something, then it must be in this core. I haven't entered it yet. Ling Yun'er said. She had only explored this core, she did not enter the core. The core was a black crystal with a diameter of 10 meters, it was very difficult to see through it. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye with all his strength, 2 golden rays shot out from his eyes and entered the core. Not long later, he saw a golden stone in the core. It was the size of a peach, and it looked very irregular. What is this? Qin Yun took out the Taisher divine mirror and shone it on it, but he could not see it. Therefore, Taisher old brother also did not know what it was. Qin Yun told this discovery to Ling Yun'er and said, I will go in and take it out, wait for me outside. Xiao Yun, what if there is danger? Ling Yun'er quickly pulled Qin Yun's hand and said, I will go in with you. If there is any danger, one more person means one more strength. Qin Yun took out the heavenly hat and put it on her. Then, he took out the Divine King heavenly seal and pulled her towards the core. Wanting to enter is also very difficult. Qin Yun frantically consumed his divine cosmos power to use mysterious penetration divine ability to pass through the crystal and finally enter the core to take out the golden stone. After taking it out, Qin Yun carefully looked at it and said with frown, It has no weight at all. It is as light as a feather. What the hell is this? I also can't sense any energy. Ling Yun'er took out a dagger and poked the golden stone and said, It seems very sturdy. Could it be that this is a super good material? The surface of the stone is golden, it has no weight, no energy aura, but it is very sturdy. Qin Yun took Ling Yun'er's dagger and vigorously stabbed it. The dagger directly broke into pieces, but the stone is completely undamaged. and at least it seems like this is a very powerful material. But if it is only this, the universe law spirit should not attach so much importance to it. Next, Qin Yun tried all kinds of methods, but he was unable to destroy the stone. Old brother Taisher also doesn't know what it is. He used the bloodline heavenly pattern box's energy to touch the stone, but there was no reaction. Finally, Qin Yun placed the stone inside the pill transformation heavenly furnace to refine it. At the same time, he carefully observed it. After the pill transformation heavenly furnace absorbs energy, it can produce a very strong pressure. It can compress things from all directions and then turn them into a pill. Qin Yun controlled the many divine sons of the nine sun divine spirit inside the evil yang pearl and poured energy into the pill transformation heavenly furnace to release even stronger energy. Not long after, the pill transformation heavenly furnace's spirit transmitted to Qin Yun, "Master, this thing can't be suppressed. The pill transformation heavenly furnace really can't suppress this stone at all. In the past, no matter how hard it was, it would have been compressed into a square shape or a circle smaller. Although it can't be suppressed, Qin Yun discovered that the golden stone has been compressed to the point of deforming a bit. In other words, this stone might have a flexible nature, but the pressure is not enough, so it can't deform." Qin Yun is now certain that the universe law spirit did not leave behind any hidden dangers. It is just that this golden stone is very mysterious. This thing shouldn't be as simple as a material. Qin Yun held the stone and said, "Yuner, let's go out first." Qin Yun and Ling Yuner left the nine sun divine spirit together, and then let Zi Qingqing and the others return. It is rare for Ling Yuner to relax. She also found out that Star God and Bai Suxin are still in Phoenix Palace, so she immediately went to find them to play. Phoenix Queen's cultivation of Divine Sun is also gradually entering a good state. She learned from Ling Yuner that Qin Yun is currently free and immediately went to the Nine Sun Divine Spirit to find Qin Yun. After learning that Phoenix Queen is outside the Nine Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda, Qin Yun's eyes suddenly lit up. He plans to use the Imperial Heaven Divine Technique to eliminate the evil consciousness energy inside Phoenix Queen's body. This way, Phoenix Queen can receive the memory inheritance of that Nine Heavens goddess. Maybe she will know what the Golden Stone is. Mobile users, please visit Chapter 3278. Back when Qin Yun fought with the universe's Dharma spirit, although Phoenix Queen didn't know much from the outside, she could sense the existence of the universe's Dharma spirit. She could also sense the powerful evil power. She did not understand much from Bai Suxin and the Star God. Now that Qin Yun's condition had stabilized, she immediately came over to ask about it. Qin Yun invited Phoenix Queen into the Nine Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda and said with a smile, "Feng how is your Divine Sun cultivation going?" "I'm still missing the Yang seed," Su Xian said. "Her white god son is not very suitable for me. You have a suitable Yang seed here." Phoenix Queen is quite happy to hear Qin Yun call her Feng. Qin Yun's few divine sons could produce sun seeds. He did not lack them. Previously, when the Phoenix Queen mobilized the entire Vermilion Bird Treasureland's power to help, he had yet to thank her. Hearing that Phoenix Queen needed a sun seed, Qin Yun immediately took out the Divine Universe Purple Sun and Heavenly Universe Divine Sun's sun seed. "Which of these two Yang seeds do you want?" Qin Yun asked. "Divine Universe Sun and Divine Universe Purple Sun? They all seem to be pretty good." Phoenix Queen looked at the blue and purple sun seeds on Qin Yun's palms and suddenly felt conflicted. "Qin Yun, give me a suggestion." Phoenix Queen smiled and said, "What kind of divine sun do you think is suitable for me to cultivate? How about one of them?" Qin Yun said with a smile, "How can just cultivating a divine sun be enough?" The Phoenix Queen revealed a hearty smile and said, "In that case, with your help, I will be able to cultivate a second divine sun very quickly?" "That's great. I don't have to be so conflicted. She first chose the Divine Universe Purple Sun's Yang seed. After obtaining the Yang seed, she knew how to fuse with it and quickly fused it into her body. In the future, she only needed to cultivate further and fuse the Divine Yang within her body with the Divine Universe within her body, and she would be successful. With the help of Nirvana City, it should be very easy for everyone to cultivate the Divine Sun, said Qin Yun. You guys are really amazing. You obviously haven't surpassed the Divine Space Realm, but you've grasped so many techniques. Although I, the Phoenix Queen, am not the strongest in the Origin Luo universe, I was once a queen who commanded the universe. However, I am not as proficient in these techniques as you are. Phoenix Queen sighed. The process of Bai Suxin and the star god helping her cultivate her divine sun made her gasp in amazement. Because we all grew up in the gods desolate, there will be even more miracles in this land. Qin Yun was suddenly curious as he asked, how did Suxin and the rest teach you Divine Yang? They taught me a cultivation technique called the Sun-Moon Heart Sutra. I can't tell you the specifics. Phoenix Queen smiled mysteriously. Feng I want to help you get rid of the hidden danger in your soul. Are you willing? Qin Yun suddenly said solemnly. I obtained something left behind by the universe's law spirit, but I don't know what it is. I need your sealed, inherited memories. Speaking of this, the Phoenix Queen was still quite worried, and did not immediately agree. I'm afraid I won't be able to control myself. It doesn't matter to me, but I'm afraid that I'll implicate you. You are the Divine King, the hope of the Divine Desolate. Phoenix Queen looked at the bracelet Qin Yun gave her. It was used to seal the evil energy. It's all right. Qin Yun held her hand and said with gentle smile, not long ago, I defeated the universe's law spirit's consciousness. I have already found a way. All right, I believe you. The Phoenix Queen's beautiful eyes sparkled as she nodded. She immediately released her soul. Qin Yun looked at the Phoenix soul in her hands. There is a heavenly rune character on it, sealing the formidable evil consciousness energy. This evil consciousness should be similar to the universe's law spirit's consciousness. Bloodline heavenly rune or divine king heavenly seal methods are unable to restrain it, because the universe's law spirit is very familiar with this kind of power. Qin Yun looked at the Phoenix Queen in Phoenix Queen's hands and then silently used Heaven Extermination 9 style, Moon Separating Soul. He used this move to deal with the universe's law spirit's consciousness. The Heaven Extermination 9 style was improved by Qin Yun by fusing it with the Imperial Heaven Divine technique. And this Imperial Heaven Divine technique is a technique Qin Yun comprehended himself. The universe's law spirit doesn't understand it. Qin Yun released the nether moon and said in low voice, Feng there might be a big reaction in a moment. Prepare yourself. Phoenix Queen lightly nodded. Let's begin. Qin Yun immediately began using Moon Separating Soul. The nether moon enveloped the small phoenix and burst out with devouring power. It began extracting the evil consciousness energy. At the same time, Qin Yun released righteous energy power and poured it into Phoenix Queen's soul. It's coming, Phoenix Queen suddenly said in a deep voice. Her eyes suddenly turned black and evil energy poured into her body. That consciousness wants to seize her consciousness. Hoochie! Phoenix Queen's body suddenly burst out with an incomparably powerful energy, tearing her clothes apart. Soon after, her body was wrapped up by evil energy. At this moment, her long hair is fluttering in the wind. Under her jade-like skin, waves of black evil energy gushed out. Her pair of phoenix eyes, which were originally filled with majesty, are now spewing out black evil energy, making her look strange and frightening. Man, don't even think of touching my descendant, Phoenix Queen said. Her voice is hoarse and old. This is Phoenix Queen's ancestor, the first 9 heavens goddess of her line. Phoenix Queen has been possessed by her. Looks like it's not a dirty trick left behind by the universe's law spirit. Qin Yun said very calmly. Phoenix old ancestor, do you wish for your descendant to survive in this great era? Not only must my descendant survive, she must also show disdain for the entire universe. That voice is filled with boundless might. However, she can't even defeat a dog of the universe's law spirit. Qin Yun said with sneer. All these years, is this how you've helped your descendant? What nonsense are you spouting? My descendant is the Nine Heavens goddess. How could she not be able to defeat a dog of the universe's law spirit? Phoenix old ancestor said angrily. Have you never read the memories of your descendant? Qin Yun asked. I have never interfered with their growth. Only when their lives are in the most dangerous moment, I will appear to save them. I only appeared when the universe's law spirit wanted to exterminate her soul. Phoenix old ancestor said. Qin Yun is secretly alarmed. So it was the universe's law spirit who secretly made a move last time, but it did not succeed in the end. It seems like you don't know the current situation at all. Let me tell you. Qin Yun actually doesn't know what the universe's law spirit wants to do. He only knows that the law spirits of many universes are fusing together and the universe's law spirit wants to transform into a human. Phoenix old ancestor actually listened very patiently. Moreover, after listening, she is no longer as unrestrained as before. She also realized that her descendant's situation is very bad. Actually, I also don't know what the universe's law spirit wants to do. Qin Yun spread out his hands and said, I helped your descendant cultivate Divine Sun, and in the future, I will also help her cultivate Second Divine Sunday. I really don't have any malice towards her. You don't need to understand what the universe's law spirit wants to do, you just need to constantly strengthen yourself. Phoenix old ancestor said coldly. You summon me, if you have something to say, just say it directly. Chapter 3279. Qin Yun originally did not know that the Phoenix ancestor was like this. He had previously thought that the consciousness sealed in the Phoenix Queen's soul was arranged by the universe's law spirit. Now, it seems that is not the case. When I fought with the consciousness of the universe law spirit before, I was lucky enough to win and obtain the thing he left behind. I don't know what it is, but it should be very important to the universe law spirit. As Qin Yun spoke, he took out the fist-sized golden stone. When the Phoenix clan ancestor saw the stone, he cried out in shock. This is Divine Sun bloodline. Does it do anything? Qin Yun hurriedly asked. He never expected that it would be something related to blood and not some kind of stone. It's very useful. This sort of thing could be said to be a transcendent object. According to the understanding of the universe, this sort of thing shouldn't exist. But this universe still gave birth to such things. The Phoenix clan ancestor did not touch this god's sun blood seed, mainly because she was worried that the universe's law spirit would sense her. Qin Yun picked up the divine sun blood seed and asked curiously, an item that transcends? First of all, the divine sun blood seed has no weight, but it is very strong. It contains a very special energy and can resist all kinds of powerful attack. The Phoenix clan ancestor said, however, this thing has no weight at all. Are there many divine sun bloods in the universe? Under what circumstances was it formed? Qin Yun asked. Not many, but it's very rare. It's easier for it to appear in the cores of extremely large evil suns and devil suns. The universe's Dharma spirit had destroyed a large number of evil suns and devil suns and was frantically collecting this kind of thing. Even he doesn't know the specific usage of the divine sun blood seed. Phoenix clan ancestor said, of course, he didn't know that year, but now he should know. Phoenix clan ancestor, do you know what use it has? Qin Yun is also very curious. If this item is very important to the universe Dharma spirit, then the universe Dharma spirit will definitely snatch it back. Back then, the Cosmos Law Spirit used my body as an experiment. He extracted the liquid from the divine sun blood seed and injected it into my body, causing my body and soul to become extremely evil. In the end, because he couldn't control my soul or kill me, he had no choice but to seal my evil consciousness. But he was not willing to seal me forever, so he used a very complicated method to let my soul live in the soul of a descendant. He wanted to see if I could break the seal in the end, and what I would become in the end. The Phoenix clan ancestor's heart was filled with resentment as he recalled the past. Violent and furious nefarious energy suddenly gushed out from the Phoenix Queen's body. "Ancestor, how are you doing now? You seem to be able to control evil." Qin Yun asked, "Is that so?" "Yes, over the years I've slowly regained control. I can already completely control this evil power. Don't think that my soul is filled with evil energy, but I will never lose my mind." Phoenix clan ancestor said, "The greatest use of the divine sun blood seed is to strengthen the body, allowing the living beings in this universe to completely transcend." "Complete transcendence?" Qin Yun said with a frown. "Are universe Dharma spirits going to transcend as well?" "He is the universe's law spirit. It's just a magic spirit. For example, if you create a very powerful artifact, and the artifact produces its own spirit, then the spirit will always be inside the artifact, and it will be controlled by the master. If the artifact was yours, would you let the artifact spirit act recklessly? How much authority would you give the artifact spirit?" Phoenix clan ancestor asked. Qin Yun immediately sank into contemplation, his heart gradually filled with shock. He always thought that the universe's law spirit was invincible in this universe. However, after listening to the Phoenix clan ancestor's explanation, many of his doubts were easily solved. In his opinion, the universe's law spirit was so awesome, it could easily destroy heaven and earth, but it would always be restricted. The universe's law spirit wants to transcend, it wants to transform into a human, it wants to have the most powerful body. Just like the artifact spirit of your divine artifact hates you, it wants to cultivate a fleshly body, break away from your control, destroy the divine artifact, and even kill the master. Phoenix clan ancestor said again. Then the entire universe's cultivation regressing, the fusion of multiple universes' law spirits. What's going on? The more Qin Yun thought about it, the more he felt that these universes were complicated and terrifying. Multiple universes are equivalent to multiple divine artifacts. Multiple artifact spirits work hard to fuse multiple divine artifacts. Everyone concentrates their power and strive to transcend the divine artifact. As for the regression of cultivation, it is not something the universe's law spirit can do. The universe's law spirit's power is limited. It can only be said that the universe's law spirit triggers the universe's power to recover energy. This is equivalent to harvesting. For example, if you plant medicinal herbs, you put in a lot of resources, then harvest them. Phoenix clan ancestors' words shocked Qin Yun once again. The operation of the universe is far more complicated than he imagined. Then what kind of existence is the Nine-Yang law spirit? Could it be that it also wants to transcend? The Nine-Yang law spirit created the divine desolate heavens. Is it to gather everyone's power, then let everyone transcend the comfort of the universe? And the ancient primal, did they also want to transcend? Is the universe's law spirit created the new humans to research on how to break away from this universe? The divine sun blood seed is called the transcendence object by the universe's law spirit because this thing is born from the divine sun's spirit. My guess is that the powerful and special divine sun needs to transform its own spirit into a body, then retract the divine sun's energy into the divine sun blood seed, finally transforming into a human. Phoenix clan ancestor said again. Qin Yun thought of the bloodline heavenly rune box. These boxes are formed by sealing powerful divine suns. then fusing with large amount of runes to transform into bloodline, it is also a very mystical thing. Ancestor, how much divine sun blood seed liquid did the universe's law spirit inject into your body? Qin Yun looked at the divine sun blood seed in his hand. This thing is so sturdy, it is actually made of liquid. 10 drops. I was so powerful back then, but just 10 drops of divine sun blood seed liquid was enough to consign me to eternal damnation. Even now, Phoenix Clan Ancestor is very afraid of this. How do I extract the liquid? Qin Yun is eager to give it a try. He wants to try it on his body. It is difficult for his body to break through again. If he fuses with this kind of thing, he might be able to break through the upper limit of divine cosmos power. You want to try it on your body? I advise you not to court death. Phoenix Clan Ancestor solemnly said, since you are some god king, then obediently cooperate with the 9 Yang Law Spirit. You know about the 9 Yang Law Spirit? Qin Yun said again. Of course I know. I also know that he has a god king plan, but I don't know the specifics. In short, you are very important to him. Phoenix Clan Ancestor said. The 9 Yang Law Spirit is in trouble. With my current strength, I can't save him. I need to borrow the power of the divine sun blood seed liquid. Qin Yun insisted on using his body to try. Chapter 3280. Phoenix Ancestor fell silent. She knew the 9 Sun Law Spirit and knew that if something were to happen to it, then everything she had been waiting for would be shattered. The 9th Divine Sun will be born soon. Although the 9 Sun Divine Maiden is protecting the core of the 9th Divine Sun, I am still worried about them. Qin Yun said again. The divine sun blood seed might not only appear inside the super evil sun, but it is easier to be born inside the super evil Sunday. The 9 Sun Law Spirit should have already grasped the method to nurture the divine sun blood seed. The 9th Divine Sun is the key. Phoenix Ancestor said, if I am not wrong, the Universe Law Spirit and the 9 Sun Law Spirit will definitely fight for the divine sun blood seed. Qin Yun only knew that the Universe God race wanted to fight for the 9th Divine Sun and use it to quickly reproduce. And behind them, the Universe Law Spirit wanted to fight for the divine sun blood seed. The divine sun blood seed inside the 9th Divine Sun was nurtured by the 9 Sun Law Spirit himself. Because it was not nurtured by the evil sun, the 9 Sun Law Spirit can easily obtain the power of the divine sun blood seed, and thus transcend? Qin Yun asked. Yes, the divine sun blood seed can allow people to obtain the power of transcendence. This power of transcendence is not bound by the universe. In other words, it cannot be casually taken back by the universe. Phoenix Ancestor said. Otherwise, no matter how high your cultivation realm is, when the universe needs it, it will carry out a harvest and deprive everyone of the power that they have painstakingly cultivated. Qin Yun could not help but shiver when he heard this. If the universe needed it and their cultivation continued to regress, they would not have any power to resist. Therefore, whether it is the Universe Law Spirit or the 9 Sun Law Spirit, they all want to transcend the universe. And the ancient primordial people, they seem to have been working hard towards this goal, but in the end, they still failed. The 9 Sun Law Spirit's ambition is even greater. Not only does he want to transcend the universe, he also wants more living beings to transcend the universe. Phoenix Ancestor said again. Qin Yun immediately thought of the Divine Desolate. Is this what the 9 Sun Law Spirit has been doing? There is also the mysterious 9th Desolate, there is still no news of it. Big Sister Phoenix, please tell me how to extract the liquid from the divine sun blood seed. Qin Yun's gaze was firm as he said, 9 Sun Law Spirit also knows that I have the divine sun blood seed. He will definitely support me in trying. Alright, since you've decided to take the risk, I won't stop you. The Phoenix Clan Ancestor finally agreed. She did not know if it was because Qin Yun called her big sister. Then, she told Qin Yun how to extract the liquid from the divine sun blood seed. After that, the Phoenix Patriarch said, I have already told you, whether you can do it or not is up to you. This process is very difficult. With your current strength, you might not be able to succeed. It's not difficult for me. Qin Yun smiled and said, Many thanks, Big Sister Phoenix. Not only can the divine sun blood seed fluid strengthen the body, but it can also strengthen the soul. It took me many years to get used to this evil. The Phoenix ancestor said, If it wasn't for the fact that this divine sun blood seed was extracted from the majority of evil sons, I wouldn't have become like this. What about the Phoenix Queen? Will you help her secretly in the future? With her current strength, she's really too weak. She can't beat the universe's Dharma spirit's underlings at all. Qin Yun said, Although I can help her, I can't make her stronger in a short period of time. I can't help her. I can only appear at the most critical moment to protect her. If she wants to become stronger, she needs to rely on herself. The Phoenix ancestor let out a long sigh. If you can make her stronger, then do your best. In this great era, I can't guarantee how far she can go. Qin Yun did not believe the Phoenix ancestor's words. She would definitely be able to make the Phoenix Queen stronger. However, she was afraid that the Phoenix Queen would be targeted by the universe's Dharma spirit, so she had always been hiding and did not even let the Phoenix Queen know about her situation. Don't tell her about me. If she asks, you can just make up a story. In short, don't pull me out. If you don't do as I say, I won't forgive you if you summon me next time. The Phoenix ancestor said very sternly. Big Sister Phoenix, don't worry, I will definitely keep it a secret. Qin Yun quickly nodded. Very quickly, the Phoenix ancestor disappeared. The black aura around the Phoenix Queen's body gradually disappeared, and she returned to her original appearance. Qin Yun immediately took out a robe and put it on. What happened just now? The Phoenix Queen immediately grabbed Qin Yun's hand tightly and stared at him with her phoenix eyes. Her intuition told her that something must have happened just now. Qin Yun coughed dryly and said, Feng don't misunderstand. I didn't take advantage of you. There's no need to explain. I know you didn't because you don't dare. The Phoenix Queen said coldly. Quickly tell me what happened just now. Something must have happened. Qin Yun was startled. What do you mean I don't dare? Who told you? Alright, I really don't dare. Seeing Qin Yun's expression, the Phoenix Queen said, It was Star God and Su Xian who said it. Just now, you were possessed by your first-generation ancestor. Qin Yun chuckled. Then, he told the Phoenix Queen everything about the Phoenix ancestor's possession. He concealed the matter regarding the divine sun blood seed because he was worried that the Phoenix Queen would take the risk to introduce that liquid in order to become stronger and follow in the footsteps of her ancestor. Even if he entered the extreme evil devil state, he would not be controlled by the powerful evil devil power. Therefore, he was confident that he could suppress that kind of evil and the Phoenix Queen would definitely not be able to. So that's how it is, Her soul is indeed still alive. The Phoenix Queen seemed to be very excited as she tightly held Qin Yun's hands. Feng although her soul is with yours, she is usually in a sealed state of hibernation. She won't read your memories or interfere with your every move. Qin Yun said with a smile. I promised her to keep this a secret, but I still told you. Men are just unreliable. The Phoenix Queen snorted lightly and then returned the robe Qin Yun gave her. She took out a set of domineering phoenix armor in front of Qin Yun and put it on. Feng I need to go into seclusion for a period of time to prepare for the birth of the 9th divine son. There are still many things outside, you should be able to handle them. Qin Yun said. You go into seclusion properly. Even if the sky falls, you, as the God King, will need to hold it up. Leave those trivial matters to us. The Phoenix Queen lightly pounded Qin Yun's chest, and then walked out of the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda. Qin Yun watched the Phoenix Queen leave, and recalled that the 9 Yang Law Spirit had once told him to deal with the Phoenix Queen. At that time, he did not explain the reason. Now that he thought about it, he felt a chill run down his spine. Because the Phoenix Queen's soul also contained the soul of the 9 Heavens goddess. Moreover, she is very powerful and not to be trifled with. Qin Yun released Ling Yun. Next, he needed to use the Nether Sun to extract the divine Sun Blood Seed liquid. The Phoenix ancestor believed that it would be very difficult for Qin Yun to extract it because he needed to use the formidable power of the Nether Sun. A formidable Nether Sun is very difficult to find, and even if it is found, it would be very difficult to control it freely. Qin Yun has one, Ling Yuner has one, and there is still a big one inside the Nether Sun Pearl, so he is confident that he can extract it. Chapter 3281. The Phoenix clan ancestor said before that he needed the power of the Nether Sun. Moreover, he needed to be able to precisely control the power of the Nether Sun. Qin Yun has 3 Nether Suns. One of them is the Great Nether Sunday. Although it is not very big, he has a way to fuse them together. After Ling Yuner came out, she listened to Qin Yun talk about the divine Sun Blood Seed and how to extract the divine Sun Blood Seed liquid. She roughly knew how to cooperate with Qin Yun. Xiao Yun, your relationship with the Phoenix Queen is developing pretty well. Ling Yun laughed tenderly. Bad elf. Qin Yun scratched her nose and said with a smile, when there are not so many things to do in the future, I will let her get to know you. Ling Yun looked around and said, should I release the Nether Sun here? Of course not. I want to enter the Nether Sun Pearl and do it directly under the Nether Sun. Qin Yun said, you and I will also release Nether Suns. Then our Nether Suns will fuse together and enter the Great Nether Sunday. Well, let's start now. Ling Yuner nodded. Qin Yun asked Zi Qingqing to come out and let her watch over the 9 Sun Divine Spirit. Then he and Ling Yuner entered the Nether Sun Pearl. After arriving under the Nether Sun Pearl, he and Qin Yun immediately released their Nether Suns. Then, Ling Yuner grabbed Qin Yun's hand and used Sun and Moon Heart Sutra to fuse the Nether Suns more easily. Their Nether Suns quickly fused and entered the Great Nether Sunday. Success. I also entered the Great Nether Sun. This way it will be easier to control. Ling Yuner said with smile. I now feel like I am the law spirit of the Great Nether Sun. Hearing Ling Yuner's words, Qin Yun's heart stirred. If Ling Yuner can really become the Great Nether Sun's law spirit, then after the Great Nether Sun condenses the divine Sun Blood Seed, wouldn't Ling Yuner be able to easily absorb the divine Sun Blood Seed liquid and cultivate a powerful body? Then, he thought of Yang Yang. She found out that she liked entering the divine universe Purple Sun and often absorbed its energy to cultivate. It was the same for Zi Qingqing and Shui Tianzi. If the divine sun in the 9 Sun Divine Spirit gave birth to the divine Sun Blood Seed, they would definitely be able to easily fuse with the divine Sun Blood Seed liquid. Qin Yun took out the divine Sun Blood Seed and the godly monarch Heavenly Seal. Old brother Taisher also learned about the divine Sun Blood Seed from Qin Yun. He didn't know about it before. Qin Yun was worried that something unexpected would happen when he extracted the divine Sun Blood Seed fluid. Therefore, he took out the divine King Heavenly Seal so that it could suppress the seal at the critical moment. Yuner, prepare to begin. Qin Yun lightly shouted. He needed a sufficiently powerful Nether Sun's power to condense it into a very thin needle and pierce it into the divine Sun Blood Seed. Then, he could use the Great Nether Sun's devouring power to extract the divine Sun Blood Seed liquid. The Phoenix clan ancestor said that the Cosmos Law Spirit had another 9 Heavens goddess try all sorts of methods in order to find a method. After extracting it, it immediately injected it into the Phoenix clan ancestor's body. After that, it was as if she had fallen into eternal damnation. And now, Qin Yun wanted to extract it for his own use. The Phoenix clan ancestor had experienced it before and found it hard to suppress the evil, so she advised Qin Yun not to do it. Back then, the divine sun blood seed liquid that was injected into her body was extracted from the divine sun blood seed in Qin Yun's hand. Therefore, the Phoenix clan ancestor is very afraid of the divine sun blood seed in Qin Yun's hand. It is indeed very difficult to condense super strong nether sun power into a needle. If one's control over the nether sun is not enough, it is simply impossible. Qin Yun and Ling Yuner can control the nether sun to release supergravity. Through the supergravity, they can evenly compress a large amount of nether sun power from all directions and then grind it into a needle. Ling Yuner controlled the great nether sunday. She released a very strong nether sun power. It is like a huge pillar. Soon after, a supergravity appeared and came from all directions, compressing the nether sun power and gradually making it thin. However, this process is not easy. Qin Yun and Ling Yuner released their mental power to control it. Fortunately, the power of supergravity mainly comes from the nether sun itself, so Qin Yun and Ling Yuner don't need to consume much energy. What they need to do is precisely control the nether sun power and condense it into a needle. When a large amount of energy is compressed and not leaked, the energy will become very strong. The divine sun blood seed is very sturdy, and only through this method can it pierce the shell of the divine sun blood seed. If the Phoenix ancestor was here, he would be very shocked. Because when the universe law spirit gave pointers to the other 9 heavens goddess, it took her several years to condense the formidable nether sun power into a needle. And Qin Yun and Ling Yuner working together, it doesn't take long. This is mainly because their control over the nether sun is very strong. It can be said that they are very skilled. Half a day passed by. The originally incomparably huge nether sun power pillar has now gradually turned into a thread. It is still connected to the great nether sun in the sky. It should be enough. Qin Yun took a deep breath. Next, extracting the divine sun blood seed is the most crucial step. Next, it is up to Qin Yun to control the thread-like needle and guide it towards the divine sun blood seed. Although it looks like a thread, its quality is very terrifying. If a little bit of carelessness, once it becomes unstable and explodes, the fluctuation produced will be very great. Fortunately, Qin Yun and Ling Yuner's control is very good. They very easily guided the needle and pierced it towards the divine sun blood seed. When it pierced in, it looks like it doesn't take much effort, it very easily pierced in. Phoenix clan ancestor said that the divine sun blood seed is golden, moreover, 1 drop at a time should be sucked out. Qin Yun contacted Ling Yuner and asked her to control the nether sun to gradually release the suction power. Although the divine sun blood seed has been pierced, it is very stable. Qin Yun was worried that it would not explode or release any evil energy. Not long after, a small drop has been sucked out. Yuner, wait a moment, I will inject this drop into my body. You watch me from the side. If I can't endure it, think of a way to suck it out. Qin Yun said. Got it. Ling Yuner also came out of the great nether sunday. There is also the divine king heavenly seal on the side. Qin Yun also instructed old brother Taisher. After he is done preparing, Qin Yun injected the divine sun blood seed into his body. After the divine sun blood seed entered his body, it did not immediately dissolve. This is completely different from what Phoenix clan ancestor said. She said that once it enters his body, it will immediately dissolve and then devour his body and soul, causing unbearable pain. Could it be that after so many years, this divine sun blood seed no longer has any evil nature? Qin Yun is secretly amazed. The divine sun blood seed directly entered his heavenly imperial heart. Along with his heartbeat, golden energy rippled out from the divine sun blood seed and attacked his entire body. Even his soul is being attacked by this strange energy. At this moment, he has a very strange feeling, as if he is isolated from the rest of the world. He wants to talk about 9 Sun Divine King with like-minded people. Chapter 3282. This kind of feeling made Qin Yun feel amazed, especially the control over his own energy. This kind of feeling is hard to describe. If it was before, although he could control his own power freely, he always felt that this kind of power would always leave him. But now, he feels that this kind of power has completely fused with him, completely belongs to him, and will not easily leave. This feeling quickly disappeared, and Qin Yun suddenly woke up. What's wrong? Seeing Qin Yun wake up, Ling Yun'er suddenly asked as if she was frightened. No, nothing. How long has it been? Qin Yun asked. Just now. He didn't feel the flow of time. It was as if a long time had passed, but also as if only a few hours had passed. Not long. You just introduced that drop into your body and then you opened your eyes. Ling Yun'er blinked and asked, Xiao Yun, how is it? Is this divine sun blood seed liquid really very powerful? Qin Yun is also very puzzled, because he did not feel that he has become stronger. He immediately checked the upper limit of his divine cosmos power with the divine mirror of primordial beginning. I don't know. Qin Yun looked at his hands and felt his body. It seems that there is no change at all. This is completely different from what the Phoenix ancestor said. She previously told Qin Yun that after a drop of divine sun blood seed liquid entered his body, his entire body would be in pain. His soul would feel as if it was being torn apart and burned. Therefore, Qin Yun was prepared to endure great pain from the beginning. He is not afraid of pain at all. However, the process that the Phoenix ancestor said did not happen at all. Is it too little? Qin Yun said with a frown. Yun-er, let's continue. Qin Yun also asked his old brother Taisher earlier. He said that there is no other change in his body, and asked him to continue checking. This time, Qin Yun extracted 2 drops and injected them into his body. Just like before, when the 2 drops of divine sun blood seed liquid entered Qin Yun's heart, he once again felt that strange feeling. This time, the duration seemed to be a bit longer, but he still woke up very quickly. Just like before, there is no change. Could it be that this divine sun blood seed has changed? It is different from what the Phoenix ancestor knows? Qin Yun is even more puzzled. Xiao Yun, you still haven't changed? This thing is so strong, but when the liquid entered your body, there is no reaction at all. Ling Yun'er can't help but pinch Qin Yun's body. Qin Yun inspected himself once again. Indeed, there were no changes. But when he checked the upper limit of divine cosmos force, he was shocked. The upper limit of his divine cosmos force was originally 300,000, but now it was only 290,000. It was actually 10,000 less. Old brother Taisher was also shocked and said, What's going on? How did the upper limit of 10,000 divine universe forces suddenly drop without anyone noticing? During this period of time, Qin Yun was searching everywhere for a way to raise the upper limit of his divine cosmos power so that after he stepped into the 9th level of the divine cosmos realm, he would have an even higher upper limit of divine cosmos power. He had thought that using the divine sun blood seed would allow him to break through this limit. He didn't expect that it would drop by 10,000 points. Qin Yun and old brother Taisher immediately decided to use the Godly King Heavenly Seal to raise the lowered limit of 10,000 divine universe forces. He immediately placed the God King Heavenly Seal on his chest and began to raise it. More than 2 hours passed. Qin Yun was alarmed. What's wrong? Ling Yun'er hurriedly asked. Just now I lowered my upper limit by 10,000 divine universe power. I want to raise it, but I can't succeed. Qin Yun is completely stupefied. What's with this divine sun blood seed? As a result, he was unable to increase his upper limit. What the hell? Qin Yun took out the divine mirror of primal beginning and started inspecting his body. He wants to figure out the reason. Divine Sun Blood Seed is definitely a good thing, it will definitely bring him great power. But he doesn't know how to absorb it. Qin Yun believes that his situation is different from the Phoenix ancestors. First of all, he has the Imperial Heaven Heart and can control the extreme evil devil power. Therefore, he doesn't have the same situation as the Phoenix ancestor. Could it be that the Phoenix ancestor didn't absorb the Divine Sun Blood Seed properly back then, that's why she became like that? How to properly absorb the Divine Sun Blood Seed? Also, why does the upper limit of Divine Cosmos power drop after absorbing the Divine Sun Blood Seed? Qin Yun closed his eyes and pondered. Then he asked his old brother Taisher. Not long after, old brother Taisher said, Qin Yun, I believe that there is no correct method to absorb the Divine Sun Blood Seed. Why do you say that? Qin Yun asked. Because the Divine Sun Blood Seed is different. Some Divine Sun Blood Seeds are born inside the Super Evil Sun, some are born inside other Divine Suns. The Divine Sun Blood Seed is not something that can be absorbed by living beings, it is something that the Divine Sun's Law Spirit needs to take human form. It is something that they can use to transcend the cosmos. Old brother Taisher said. The reason why the Divine Sun Blood Seed appeared is because the Super Evil Sun's Law Spirit wants to transcend the cosmos and not be harvested by others. In other words, as long as the Divine Sun Blood Seed enters your body, you will be able to successfully absorb it. After that, it will be up to you whether or not you can suppress the Divine Sun Blood Seed's energy. Old brother Taisher said again. Phoenix ancestor was unable to suppress the Divine Sun Blood Seed's energy at first, so her body became very evil. Then her body was destroyed by the Law Spirit and her soul was unable to be destroyed, so the Law Spirit sealed her soul and then attached it to the soul of the next generation, Nine Heavens Goddess. In that case, the Phoenix ancestor also successfully absorbed the Divine Sun Blood Seed, but she suffered even more. Qin Yun said with frown, Now that I have successfully absorbed it, why did the Divine Cosmos power drop? I think so. Since you want to absorb the Transcendence power, you must return the power that belongs to this cosmos. The Transcendence power is slowly replacing the power inside your body. Old brother Taisher said, There is no harm in doing this, you can continue absorbing the Divine Sun Blood Seed until your body's power returns to its original state. If my body truly returns to its original state, will I be able to endure absorbing the Divine Sun Blood Seed? Qin Yun suddenly thought of this point. Your Imperial Heaven Heart is very special, you can completely endure it, otherwise all kinds of things would have already happened to you. Old brother Taisher said again. Qin Yun originally decided to take the risk. Now that he heard old brother Taisher's words, he decided to immediately give it a try. Although the Divine Sun Blood Seed is only the size of a fist, it has a lot of liquid inside. Qin Yun doesn't know how much there is in total. Qin Yun continued to absorb and guide it into his body. His Divine Cosmos power continued to drop, even his body's strength began to rapidly decline. Ling Yun-er's face is filled with fear looking at this scene. She can clearly sense that Qin Yun's body is rapidly weakening and aging. Strangely, Qin Yun doesn't feel his mental power declining. His soul is still very strong. Mobile users please visit Chapter 3283. Ling Yun-er's face was filled with horror, especially when she saw the wrinkles on Qin Yun's face slowly appearing. She even let out a scream. Qin Yun's current state was that his lifespan was rapidly flowing away, and he was rapidly aging. Constant cultivation, breaking through limits, and using all sorts of methods to obtain energy to temper his body was all for the sake of a long life and an immortal body. But Qin Yun's current cultivation was causing his body to rapidly age. This was a situation that would only occur if he made a mistake in his cultivation. Xiao Yun, you're getting old. Stop. Ling Yun cried out. She was worried that Qin Yun's lifespan would run out and he would die if this continued. Don't worry, Yun. I'm fine. My soul is still very strong. I'm currently in the middle of exploring a very special cultivation method. After Qin Yun heard Ling Yun-er's voice, he immediately used his soul to send a sound transmission to her. Ling Yun-er naturally knew that Qin Yun's soul was still very strong. She could sense it, but she was still worried because of the close connection between her and Qin Yun's soul. Hearing Qin Yun's voice from his soul, Ling Yun-er felt much more at ease. She was worried that Qin Yun would fall into a daze and destroy himself if he continued cultivating like this. Qin Yun's current cultivation method was indeed the opposite of the norm. Others cultivated in order to pursue greater power and to temper their bodies to become stronger. Qin Yun, on the other hand, wanted to release all the energy in his body. He wanted to see what would happen if he gave up all the energy he'd accumulated over the years. Qin Yun only dared to do this because he had the divine sun blood elixir. After entering his body, the elixir was squeezing out all the energy from the universe. Qin Yun called this process returning to the beginning. All the energy he'd gathered in his body came from the universe and was thus limited by it. For example, the universe had used the power of laws to harvest a large amount of energy. Even powerhouses as strong as the exalted Celestial Emperor had lost a layer of their physical strength. Although the energy in their bodies came from the universe, through cultivation and various methods, he could grow or multiply this energy. From this, it could be seen that all life in the universe was as insignificant as grass. The energy that he had painstakingly cultivated was still closely connected to his body, but when the laws of the universe moved, all of this energy was stripped away. From this, it could be seen that in the universe, all living beings were worthless. Qin Yun suspected that such matters of harvesting energy had definitely happened over many universe epochs. Even many mature divine sons had been harvested before. What Qin Yun was doing now was to prevent himself from being harvested. He cultivated a special energy that could avoid being detected by the universe's laws, allowing him to transcend the control of the universe's laws. In just half a day, Qin Yun had aged beyond recognition. All his hair had fallen out and his body was withered like firewood. His skin was filled with wrinkles. Ling Yun-er, who was watching from the side, cried silently. Her heart ached and she felt very uncomfortable because at this moment, she felt as if Qin Yun was going to die of old age and leave her. However, she still had to continue injecting the divine sun blood seed into Qin Yun. Yun-er, don't worry. Continue to inject the godly sun blood seed into my body. Only in this way can I be reborn. I will open a brand new path of cultivation. When I am reborn, I will no longer be at the divine space realm, but will enter a completely new realm, a realm that I have comprehended. Moreover, no one has ever reached this realm. Qin Yun transmitted his voice to Ling Yun-er through his soul. It is filled with excitement because he can feel that he is getting closer and closer to success. Of course, he is currently only at the stage of transcending body. In the future, he will also have to transcend soul power. The divine cosmos within his body is also a part of his body. Everything within the divine cosmos belongs to him, including the nether sun, nether moon and so on. At this moment, all of them are degenerating and gradually releasing energy. For this reason, he had no choice but to withdraw his nether sun, otherwise his body would not be able to completely return to its original state. Fortunately, the great nether sun of the nether sun pearl is very powerful. Ling Yun-er's control over the nether sun also made Qin Yun feel very relieved. Even if Qin Yun withdrew his nether sun, everything is still stable. Qin Yun has cultivated for many years to make his body so powerful. But now that he is relying on the godly sun blood seed to slowly release it, it is very fast. In just one day it has been almost completely released. Even the energy body protecting his imperial heaven heart has been completely released. As for where the released energy went, Qin Yun is not clear. In short, it is not inside the nether sun pearl. It can be seen that the energy must have entered the dark space. This universe has a way to extract energy from the dark space. The divine sun blood seed can facilitate this process. After completely releasing the energy belonging to this universe, Qin Yun's body dissipated in an instant. Only an incomparably powerful soul and a blue imperial heaven heart remained. The imperial heaven heart is a blue crystal. After absorbing a large amount of divine sun blood seed liquid, it is currently throbbing. Xiao Yun. Ling Yun'er cried out in alarm. She found it hard to believe that Qin Yun actually gave up the powerful body he cultivated for many years. All these years, she had been by Qin Yun's side. She had witnessed how much suffering and pain he had endured. He had actually given up on the body that he had painstakingly cultivated. How much courage does one have to make such a sacrifice? Your imperial heaven heart is very special. It was born completely out of this universe. The energy body protected the imperial heaven heart for such a long time, allowing it to grow to this stage, and help your body successfully return to its original state. Old brother Taisher sighed. Qin Yun immediately transmitted his voice to Ling Yun'er. Yun'er, I'm fine. Inject the divine sun blood seed liquid into my heart. My body is about to be reborn. Ah, is this really possible? Won't your reborn body be very weak? Ling Yun'er said, that divine sun blood seed is a lot smaller. Qin Yun's body returned to its original state and created the imperial heaven heart. He used up 2/3 of the divine sun blood seed liquid. This kind of mystical thing is very rare. Back then, the universe's law spirit only found a little bit of it from many super evil suns. Now Qin Yun has used up so much of it. I'll know after I try. I feel that my current condition is very good. Qin Yun's soul can see that his body is completely gone. Ling Yun'er is also completely confused. She can only do as Qin Yun says and inject the divine sun blood seed liquid into Qin Yun's imperial heaven heart. Qin Yun's action is very different from self-destructing his body. After self-destructing his body, he can't return all of his body's energy to the universe, because during the process of self-destruction, he would lose a lot of energy. It is equivalent to a ripe fruit being burnt into charcoal. A lot of its nutrients would be lost. Only by returning the energy that belonged to the universe can the body return to its original state. From then on, the two will not owe each other anything. Qin Yun's imperial heaven heart has no energy at all. This is the special aspect of his imperial heaven heart. After Ling Yun'er injected the divine sun blood seed liquid, his imperial heaven heart is like a seed that suddenly grew explosively. It quickly grew flesh, blood, tendons, bones, internal organs, and so on. In just a short period of time, a body appeared. Chapter 3284. Ling Yun'er was worried to death just now. Now that she saw Qin Yun's body gradually being reborn, she finally heaved a sigh of relief. She is not too clear about what kind of cultivation Qin Yun is undergoing. She only feels that it is very awesome because Qin Yun gave up his original body and then went to be reborn. This is definitely stronger than before. Qin Yun was also worried before. What if he failed? Later he thought that if he really failed, he still has many ways to reconstruct his body. With the current resources of Divine Desolate, as long as one works a bit hard, they can quickly cultivate a powerful body, let alone Qin Yun. Not long after, the divine sunblood seed became the size of a pigeon egg and Qin Yun's body also reappeared. Seeing him stop absorbing the divine sunblood seed liquid, Ling Yun'er happily rushed over and tightly hugged Qin Yun's body. A brand new body, very good. Ling Yun'er pinched Qin Yun's arm and said with a charming smile. Qin Yun caressed Ling Yun'er's charming and pleasant face, then took out some clothes and put them on. He said with smile, "Yun'er, you are now 9th level divine space realm, right? What is the upper limit of your divine cosmos power?" "My upper limit is 450,000 divine cosmos power and I also have Nether Sun. I am very strong." Ling Yun looked at Qin Yun and then couldn't help but reach out to pinch Qin Yun's handsome face. Qin Yun's handsome face has become a lot whiter. He is even more youthful and full of vigor than before. Before, he looked more mature and steady. If he had a bit of beard, he would be a handsome little uncle. But now, he was a handsome young man. At the very least, he wouldn't be called uncle by ignorant children. "I don't have any divine cosmos power left," Qin Yun said with smile. "What kind of power is that?" Ling Yun asked curiously. Just now when she touched Qin Yun's face, she secretly probed Qin Yun's body. Qin Yun didn't stop her probing, but she still couldn't find anything. She only felt that Qin Yun's body is very strong and it is difficult for her mental power to flow in Qin Yun's body. "I temporarily call it lawless power, a power that is not bound by the laws of the universe. This kind of power can only be used in this universe and can't jump out of this universe. Wait until I continue cultivating in the future, maybe I can break the confinement of the universe." "Is there any difference between your current power and divine cosmos power?" Ling Yun picked up Qin Yun's palm and gently touched it. She asked, "Can you release a little?" Qin Yun released a bit of it. It was a faint golden color and looked very gentle. Ling Yun also released divine cosmos power, then pressed her palm against Qin Yun's palm. In just an instant, her divine cosmos power was torn apart. It looked like she was stronger, but when she touched Qin Yun's gentle power, she felt a chill run down her spine. It was actually disintegrated and torn apart. Qin Yun's light golden ball of powerless power is still in his palm. "Let's call the realm I'm in now the primordial returning realm for now. I haven't completely returned to the beginning. My mental energy and soul have to return to the beginning just like my fleshly body." Qin Yun did not have a concrete understanding of how strong he was. He needed to make a comparison to know. Currently, no one knew who was the most powerful person in the divine wilderness because the leaders of the various empires and grand prime organizations were all cultivating furiously. The other was the Cosmos God race. They had the support of the Cosmos Law Spirit. Under the secret guidance of the Cosmos Law Spirit, the power of the new humans would definitely be very strong. However, no matter how strong they were, their power would still be taken back in the end. "Xiao Yun, it's good that you're fine. I was worried to death about you just now." Ling Yun is very happy to see that Qin Yun is fine and has even become stronger. Qin Yun kissed Ling Yun and went out with her. Zi Qingqing, who was waiting outside, saw Qin Yun come out and realized that he is very different, but she did not ask any questions. Qin Yun lovingly rubbed her beautiful face and then hugged her and kissed her. "Did you do something dangerous again?" Zi Qingqing snorted, always acting recklessly. Zi Qingqing and Qin Yun have known each other for a long time and she understands Qin Yun very well. Therefore, she can guess from Qin Yun's words and actions. When she hugged Qin Yun, she also probed his body. Because Qin Yun gave her a very strange feeling, as if he has become a brand new person. Zi Qingqing and Ling Yun returned to the purple sun pearl of the 9 Sun Divine Spirit. After Ling Yun went in, she told her about Qin Yun's cultivation process. Qin Yun has not been in seclusion for many days, but he still does not plan to leave the 9 Sun heaven-raising pagoda. He is afraid that once he goes out, he will have many things to deal with or he will not be able to resist participating in the complicated affairs of the myriad realms' divine court. If it is not a big deal, he really does not need to take action. Next, what he needs to do is to continue learning heavenly rune characters. This is not difficult, old brother Taisher can quickly pass it on to him. Qin Yun does not need to learn the complex and difficult Yu Clan Heavenly Talisman. Heavenly rune characters are a combination of the runes of the Yu clan Heavenly Talisman and the runes derived from the bloodline Heavenly Runebook. After more than 10 days in the Nine-Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda, Qin Yun mastered heavenly rune characters and familiarized himself with all kinds of cultivation technique. Because in the future battles, he will mainly rely on his body to fight in close combat. He is now at the early stage of Origin Realm. His body is the strongest and the lawless power within his body is still relatively weak. Releasing lawless power from a distance consumes a lot of energy. Therefore, when fighting, he will let the lawless power circulate within his body and cooperate with his reborn powerful body to burst out even stronger power. These days, he is not busy every day. Ling Yuner, Shui Tianzi and Zi Qinqing would come out from time to find him and kiss each other. Qin Yun discovered that the Sun and Moon Heart Sutra is relatively weak. During this period of time, he is also thinking about how to help Ling Yun and others enter the Origin Realm. Or, he can lead the entire divine court of myriad realms to enter the Origin Realm. Only in this way can the divine court of myriad realms transcend the universe and become the strongest existence in the divine desolate. What surprised Qin Yun is that Maluru-Er's soul has changed a lot. Her mental power can grow endlessly. Old Brother Taisher asked him to observe Maluru-Er's soul. After Qin Yun let Maluru return to the Nine-Sun Divine Soul, he thought about how to find the Divine Sun Blood Seed. This is something he must have for cultivation. Qin Yun, there is a big trouble, we can't handle it. Phoenix Queen shouted outside. Qin Yun immediately opened the door to let her in and said with a smile, "What big trouble? How did you turn white? Have you become younger?" Phoenix Queen asked in surprise when she saw Qin Yun. "Did I become a lot more handsome?" Qin Yun said with a chuckle. Phoenix Queen snorted lightly. She indeed felt that Qin Yun had become more handsome, but she did not say it out loud. Didn't the Dragon Gui King capture Crown Prince Hualing? He had yet to deal with this fellow. The Hualing Empire has sent people over to ask us to release them. If we don't, then the Hualing Empire will attack the Vermilion Bird Treasured Land. The Phoenix Queen sternly said, "You should be able to settle it, right? $article_title? Follow You Read Literature on WeChat chatting about life and looking for a bosom friend. Chapter 3285. Prince Hualing is still alive? You haven't killed him yet? Qin Yun was surprised. After all, he's the prince of a great empire. He has some value. We kept him alive because we wanted to extort money from the Hualing Empire and Taishan planet. But after a few conversations, they offered a very low price and were very unyielding. Phoenix Queen shrugged. Whether it was the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land, the Divine Court of Myriad Worlds, or the All Heavens Dragon Clan, they all hoped to make the Hualing Empire bow to them through Prince Hualing. That way, the Divine Court Alliance would be able to suppress the Hualing Empire. Can they really attack the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land? Or are they going to attack the entire Divine Court Alliance? Qin Yun was free now. If he was needed, he could take action immediately. The Hualing Empire didn't say they want to start a full-scale war. After all, the Divine Court Alliance has many places. The Dragon Province and the Dragon Turtle Treasure Land are outside the Nine-Sun Sacred Ground, as well as the treasure lands of many powerful races. The Vermilion Bird Treasure Land and the White Tiger Treasure Land are inside the Sacred Ground. They won't start a full-scale war with us. Phoenix Queen took out a large map and continued, "The only place they can attack is the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land. Now that the powerful races outside have united, they can quickly evacuate through teleportation formations if they are attacked." Many teleportation formations were marked on the map. They were spread across many powerful races outside the Sacred Ground. In the Sacred Ground, apart from the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land and the White Tiger Treasure Land, there were more than 10 teleportation points. They were all treasure lands controlled by the Vermilion Bird clan and the White Tiger clan. In less than a month, the Divine Court Alliance had been integrated and expanded very quickly. The Taishur Nirvana city under the heaven-splitting ancient clan had been found. The empires had been eyeing it, but they couldn't decide whether to attack or not. Because the power displayed by the Divine Court of Myriad Worlds was getting stronger and stronger, the empires and the Taishur factions were unwilling to use their strongest forces to attack. They didn't want to suffer heavy losses. They could have joined forces, but all sides were arguing. They didn't want to use their strongest forces for fear of suffering heavy losses. Qin Yun had been in seclusion and the heaven-splitting ancient clan needed him to open the Nirvana city, so they could only wait for him to come out. After you deal with the Vermilion Bird treasure land, you can go to the heaven-splitting ancient clan and open the Nirvana city. More and more powerful races are joining the Divine Court Alliance, and Nirvana City under the Dragon Province is becoming more and more crowded. We need Nirvana City to alleviate the situation. Phoenix Queen said again. Qin Yun changed into a black robe and asked, Feng, my plan is to assassinate the commander of Huoling Empire. Do you think it's feasible? Assassination? It wasn't that easy. I thought you would fight like you did with General Bingyang last time. The Phoenix Queen was a little surprised. The Huoling Empire sent a king. He is the uncle of the Huoling Crown Prince. His name is Blue Fire King. He is from the Taishan planet. This person is very mysterious. We can't find much information about him. Is it an army or is it just him? Qin Yun asked again. They have sent an army, but there are no super warship. There are 3 armies in total, and they are stationed in 3 different directions of the Vermilion Bird treasure land. They are well hidden, and we don't know where that Blue Fire King is. The Phoenix Queen said, We know that the Huoling Empire has mastered a special method that can break through the bounded domain. If you can kill the Blue Fire King in advance, then we don't have to resist their army. This time, the Huoling Empire had indeed threatened the entire Vermilion Bird treasure land. If they really attacked, it would be quite troublesome. I'm afraid it's impossible to fight Blue Fire King. Everyone saw how I killed General Bingyang last time. He is not that stupid. Qin Yun shook his head and then asked, By the way, after I killed General Bingyang, has the Daluo Empire made any big moves? The last time he killed General Bingyang, the Daluo Celestial Emperor had tried to stop him, but he still killed General Bingyang. This angered the Daluo Celestial Emperor. However, after so long, the Daluo Empire did not make any move. It was as if the incident had never happened. No. But you and I both know that the Daluo Celestial Emperor will not let it go. Although he is very angry, he is very patient. He will come for it sooner or later, and we have been preparing to deal with him. The Phoenix Queen sighed softly. The Daluo Celestial Emperor was her father, but she had no feelings for him since she was young. Capture Crown Prince Huoling. I will take this guy out and lure Blue Fire King out. Qin Yun rubbed his fist and said, Blue Fire King has some misgivings about me, so he must have been hiding well. Then I will use Crown Prince Huoling to lure him out? The Phoenix Queen was shocked by Qin Yun's plan again. She asked in surprise, You will go out by yourself? There are 3 armies of the Huoling Empire outside, a total of 300,000 new humans. They are all warriors with the upper limit of 300,000 divine cosmos power. I will not go out by myself. I will take Crown Prince Huoling out. Only then will Blue Fire King appear. When the time comes, I will just have to kill him. Qin Yun said it very casually, as if killing Blue Fire King was a trivial matter. The Phoenix Queen naturally knew Qin Yun's strength. After all, he had killed General Bingyang not long ago, and he had not gone all out. But the Blue Fire King of the Huoling Empire was stronger than General Bingyang. General Bingyang had 2 divine sons, so it was very likely that Blue Fire King had 3. Although those divine suns were small, the power of 3 divine suns was still very terrifying. Have you improved a lot during this time? The Phoenix Queen looked at Qin Yun's pale and youthful face and had the urge to touch it. She also remembered that Qin Yun had changed after he went into seclusion. But it had not been a long time, less than a month. How much could he have improved? Yes, I have become a lot stronger. And I am not in the divine cosmos realm now. Qin Yun smiled and said, I have comprehended a new realm by myself. I have entered this realm. In my eyes, no divine cosmos realm is my opponent. What? You are no longer in the divine cosmos realm? What realm is that? The Phoenix Queen was shocked. Her phoenix eyes widened, trying to see through Qin Yun's strength. The origin realm. After Qin Yun finished, he smiled and said, Let's go to the place where Crown Prince Huoling is imprisoned. I will take him out and fish Blue Fire King out. The origin realm? The Phoenix Queen repeated in bewilderment. She had never heard of this realm before. She naturally believed in Qin Yun, so she no longer doubted Qin Yun's strength. She took Qin Yun and flew in the air to the place where Crown Prince Huoling was imprisoned. Now, she was also secretly looking forward to Qin Yun's strength. People in the divine cosmos realm were no longer his opponent. Wasn't that an invincible existence in the divine wilderness? Chapter 3286. The Phoenix Queen was once an expert whose strength far surpassed the divine space realm, but that realm was called the Beyond Divine Space Realm, not the Origin Realm. In her opinion, even if their cultivation was restricted to the divine space realm and everyone's cultivation had regressed to this stage, the restriction would definitely be lifted in the future. At that time, they would be able to step into the divine space realm again. Those who had reached this realm before would definitely be the fastest to break through. Now that the cultivation limit had not been lifted, even if someone managed to break through, they would only be able to surpass the divine space realm. Qin Yun, what's with the primordial origin realm? The realm you created? Phoenix Queen flew in the air and asked curiously. It's very complicated, and there's a lot of risk in cultivating it at the moment. Maybe only I'm suitable. After Qin Yun said that, he gave a simple explanation of the realm. Phoenix Queen was also dumbfounded after hearing this. She naturally knew that the reason why her cultivation had regressed was because the energy they had painstakingly cultivated had suddenly been taken back. This was the first time they had experienced this. It was said that this had happened in the cosmos epoch long ago. From this, one could see that such a thing would happen in every universe epoch. In the face of this kind of thing, any powerhouse that surpassed the peak of the divine space realm was also helpless and could only silently accept this kind of thing. Even if there were no more restrictions in the future, they would still cultivate. Even if the energy was taken back again, they still had to cultivate. Not cultivating meant falling behind, and falling behind meant death. As for Qin Yun's primordial origin realm, he could avoid this. Apart from that, he was clearly stronger. This process is really complicated. Is there no other way? Phoenix Queen is very envious. She also wants to walk Qin Yun's cultivation path. Not at the moment, but I will definitely find it in the future. Qin Yun said, I have a hunch that after the 9th divine son is born, one's cultivation level will no longer be restricted. When the time comes, everyone will be able to cultivate crazily through the 9 myriad universe divine sons and quickly break through. It won't be long before the universe harvests our power again, right? The Phoenix Queen sighed helplessly. If I do this a few times, I will be able to absorb the power of the myriad worlds divine sons and divine wilderness. The myriad heavens divine desolate was the soil, and the living beings living in the myriad heavens divine desolate were the leek. No one could avoid being harvested. If your cultivation isn't restricted, you can cultivate first. Once I find a cultivation method, I can then transfer to the origin realm, said Qin Yun. I'm just afraid that the next time I'm harvested, my cultivation will fall even more. At that time, everyone will fall to the first level of the divine space realm. Phoenix Queen was rather worried about this, but when she thought of how Qin Yun's cultivation level would not regress, she said, "If that really happens, it's not a bad thing. After all, you are so powerful. If everyone's cultivation retreated once again, and even more so, then Qin Yun would be even more invincible. Don't think too much." Qin Yun smiled. Not long after, Phoenix Queen brought Qin Yun to a black mountain and stopped outside a cave. Crown Prince Huoling was imprisoned inside. When Qin Yun and Phoenix Queen entered, they saw that Prince Huoling's hands and feet were shackled. His body was tied up by ropes engraved with complicated runes. His entire body was sealed. Crown Prince Huoling had the appearance of a middle-aged man. The last time Qin Yun saw him, he was still a high-spirited, handsome, and flamboyant middle-aged man. Of course, that was his avatar, which was later killed by Phoenix Queen. When he saw Qin Yun and Phoenix Queen appear, he laughed maniacally and said, "Qin Yun, you finally appeared. Ha ha! I knew that in the end you could only compromise and let me go." Qin Yun looked at Crown Prince Huoling, as if he was looking at an idiot. "You are quite sensible. You know that letting me go back is the only choice. Don't worry, after I go back, I will ask my father to forgive you and spare your dog life. At that time, as long as you obediently kneel down and lick our Huoling Empire and become our dog." Before Crown Prince Huoling finished speaking, Qin Yun slapped him across the air. He was still a few meters away from Crown Prince Huoling and his hand did not touch Crown Prince Huoling's face, but this slap directly distorted Crown Prince Huoling's face. Phoenix Queen frowned slightly and was surprised. Qin Yun's slap did not have any aura, but it was very powerful. Crown Prince Huoling was not a weak chicken. He was once an expert who surpassed the divine space realm. His body was very strong, but he was beaten so badly by Qin Yun with a light slap. "It's Blue Fire King who came to ask for people. He brought 300,000 troops." After Qin Yun slapped Crown Prince Huoling to shut up, he said very calmly, "How much do you know about Blue Fire King?" Crown Prince Huoling looked like he was going to counterattack, but in the blink of an eye, he was beaten by Qin Yun. He knew very well how powerful Qin Yun's slap was. As a crown prince of an empire, although he was a little arrogant, he was not stupid. He knew that Qin Yun was now stronger than when he fought against General Bing Yang. As for how strong Qin Yun was, it was not something he could see. He is my uncle, the son of the great elder of Taishan Star." Crown Prince Huoling replied with a trembling voice, "Blue Fire King is one of the 3 kings of Huoling Empire. He is one of the confidants of my father, Emperor Huoling. Did he come with his own body?" Qin Yun asked again. "Yes, it must be," Crown Prince Huoling quickly said. "Whether it is my father, mother, or Taishan Star, they will do their best to help him save me." Phoenix Queen sneered and said, "Really? We offered them conditions, but they bargained. They have no intention of saving you at all. Our Huoling Empire is not like the Daluo Empire. I, the Crown Prince, am very important," Crown Prince Huoling shouted. He used his weak divine cosmos force to restore the shape of his face, and his pronunciation was much clearer. The Crown Prince of the Daluo Empire was also very important, but even if he died, it would not hurt the Daluo Empire. At most, it would damage the dignity of the Daluo Empire. "Well, let me see how important you are." Qin Yun walked over and condensed a heavenly pattern in his palm. "Seal." He gently pressed his palm on Crown Prince Huoling's chest and sealed him with the divine space power. Phoenix Queen untied all kinds of chains on him. Qin Yun picked up Crown Prince Huoling and immediately flew out of the cave and out of the Suzaku treasure land. Phoenix Queen also followed, but she did not go out of the Suzaku treasure land. At the same time, she also contacted the big shots of the Divine Palace Alliance and asked them to come. She was somewhat worried that something would happen to Qin Yun, so she asked everyone to come here. Blue Fire King, Crown Prince Huoling is in my hands. Show yourself. Qin Yun's voice shook outside the Suzaku treasure land. After Qin Yun shouted, he saw that the surroundings were very quiet, so he pulled off one of Crown Prince Huoling's arms. Crown Prince Huoling immediately screamed in pain. At this time, a vast momentum surged, and the army of Huoling Empire finally appeared. Chapter 3287. The Vermilion Bird Treasure Lands and the White Tiger Treasure Lands had become important hubs for the Divine Court Alliance to enter the Sacred Land. There were a lot of resources in the Nine Sun Sacred Ground, and the Divine Court Alliance naturally would not let others take them. Therefore, the Divine Court Alliance had to gradually enter the Nine Sun Sacred Ground to obtain a lot of resources. The leaders of the Divine Court Alliance had known that the Blue Fire King was going to attack the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land, and they had held a meeting. Because they did not know the Blue Fire King's strength, they decided to let Qin Yun, the Immortal King, fight. Of course, they did not want Qin Yun to fight alone, they also wanted to fight. According to the plan they had discussed before, the Phoenix Queen would go to Qin Yun and then find a way to invite the Blue Fire King to fight. As long as someone could keep the Blue Fire King in check, they would not be afraid of the armies of the Huoling Empire and the Taishan planet. After Phoenix Queen found Qin Yun and explained the situation, Qin Yun had his own plan. Phoenix Queen did not even have the chance to explain their plan. Therefore, all the big shots were stunned when they saw Qin Yun rushing out with Crown Prince Huoling and tearing off one of his arms. Crown Prince Huoling cursed Qin Yun and Blue Fire King in his heart. If Blue Fire King had come out earlier, he would not have been beaten on the spot. The dignified Crown Prince of the Huoling Empire had been grabbed like a chicken, and then one of his arms had been torn off like a chicken wing. No matter how one looked at it, he looked like a weak rookie. The Fireling Empire's army appeared, but Qin Yun could not sense the Blue Fire King. Furthermore, the army only numbered 200,000. Blue Flame King, are you still not coming out? Qin Yun's dignified voice seemed to reverberate between heaven and earth. Uncle, come out quickly! Crown Prince Huoling shouted. He knew what Qin Yun was going to do. He wanted to force the Blue Fire King to show up and then defeat him. This God King no longer intended to negotiate any conditions. Instead, he wanted to use the most forceful method to defeat his enemy. Qin Yun, release our Crown Prince. The voice of the Blue Fire King could be heard, but he was nowhere to be seen. Let him go, I can. Have Heavenly Emperor Huoling come and kneel down, said Qin Yun. These words enraged the army of the Huoling Empire. Their roars shook the heavens, and a vast murderous aura surged forth. Qin Yun, the exalted Celestial Emperor, didn't retaliate against you not because he's afraid of you. Blue Fire King sneered. What? Do you really think the Celestial Emperor is afraid of you? Is that why you're so arrogant? Directly asking Heavenly Emperor Huoling to kneel down, these words were indeed very arrogant. Even many people in the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land thought so. Of course, Qin Yun's words were indeed very imposing, and he also had Crown Prince Huoling in his hand. Blue Flame King, don't hide. After Qin Yun finished speaking, he punched Prince Huoling's abdomen and his fist directly penetrated his body. Crown Prince Huoling screamed again. Your Highness, didn't you say that you were very important? The Blue Fire King sent by the Huoling Empire seems to want everyone to see how I kill you. Qin Yun chuckled. Do you still want that thing? If you don't want to, then just give up on me and let me die. Crown Prince Huoling suddenly shouted in anger. Qin Yun was a bit surprised. Prince Huoling was very important because he had something in his hands. He didn't know if it was useful for Taishan Star or Huoling Empire. Crown Prince, don't be impatient. Qin Yun was only putting on a bluff. Our Hualing Empire and Taishan Star will join forces to save you. Qin Yun won't dare to kill you, otherwise the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land and the White Tiger Treasure Land will be uprooted by all the forces in the Hualing universe. Blue Fire King's voice was very calm and full of confidence. Crown Prince Hualing clenched his teeth. He also thought so in his heart. The Hualing Empire was very powerful because it ruled the entire Hualing universe, all the major Taisha forces and several kingdoms. In the eyes of everyone in the Hualing Empire, they were such a powerful empire that ruled the entire Hualing universe. If they mobilized the power of the entire Hualing universe, it would be a piece of cake to sweep the Vermilion Bird Treasure Land and the White Tiger Treasure Land. Therefore, they never thought of bowing to the divine court of myriad realms. They always wanted to use their strong power to deter the entire divine court alliance and let Prince Hualing go. Qin Yun saw this, so he decided to use the same method to deter the other side with his strong power. If they wanted Prince Hualing, they had to bow to the divine court of myriad realms. If the Hualing Empire and the entire Hualing universe recognized the rules of the divine court of myriad realms, then it would be much easier to deal with other empires. Of course, Qin Yun did not expect the Hualing Empire to recognize the rules of the divine court of myriad realms, because he also felt that such a powerful Hualing Empire would not agree so easily unless they were completely defeated. Blue Fire King, I will count to 10. If you are still so stubborn, I will kill Prince Hualing. Just now, Qin Yun secretly opened his heavenly eye and released many heavenly eye doppelgangers to look for Blue Fire King. This Blue Fire King was very cunning and hid very well. It was impossible to find him. It could be seen that he still had some scruples about Qin Yun. Qin Yun, don't kill me. I have something very important to them. They will definitely save me. Prince Hualing did not wait for Qin Yun to start counting and immediately whispered, "The thing in my hand is also useful to you. As long as you spare my life, I can give it to you. My main purpose is to lure Blue Fire King out and kill him. If you can do it and that thing is really useful and you publicly accept the punishment, then we will put you in the prison of the Divine Court of Myriad Realms." Qin Yun also wanted to know what this Prince Hualing had. Prince Hualing immediately shouted, "Uncle, Qin Yun is determined to kill me. If you don't come out, I will really be killed." Qin Yun could see it clearly. The reason why Blue Fire King came was not to save Prince Hualing's life, but for the thing in Prince Hualing's hand. Blue Fire King also felt that there was danger. Although the thing in Prince Hualing's hand was very important, he felt that his life was more important. "Your uncle is really a coward. Although this guy's voice is loud, he is scared to death." Qin Yun whispered to Prince Hualing, "It is impossible for you to get that guy out. If you don't work hard, I will really kill you." Prince Hualing panicked and gritted his teeth. Suddenly, a box appeared on his chest. It turned out to be a Divine Universe box hidden in his body. When Qin Yun first saw this box, he thought it was a bloodline heavenly pattern box, but when he took a closer look, he found it was not. As soon as this box appeared, Qin Yun felt a scorching and fierce aura coming towards him. At the same time, there was a spatial fluctuation. Blue Fire King finally could not sit still and directly appeared in front of Qin Yun. The box that Prince Hualing had just called out immediately shrank back into his body and hid. Chapter 3288. The moment the Blue Fire King appeared, Qin Yun raised his hand and released a Sun Heavenly Shield in front of him. The Sun Heavenly Shield was formed by the energy of many divine suns inside the 9 Sun Divine Spirit. It was extremely powerful. The Blue Fire King's spear landed on the Sun Heavenly Shield. The spearhead pierced into the Sun Heavenly Shield, but it seemed to have sunk in and was difficult to retract. The surface of the Sun Heavenly Shield was golden, and there was a layer of black energy surging inside. That was the power of the Nether Sun Pearl. The Sun Heavenly Shield could not only resist but also absorb the energy into the Nether Sun inside the Nether Sun Pearl. Ever since Qin Yun opened the 8th pearl and killed the consciousness of the Universe Law Spirit, he became more proficient in using the 9 Sun Divine Spirit. The Sun Heavenly Shield also became a lot stronger. In the past, it was not so easy for him to absorb energy and guide it into the Nether Sun Pearl. The Blue Fire King thought that he would use a powerful spatial magic tool to flash over and then pierce Qin Yun and Crown Prince Huoling's head with his spear, and then take away the box. He was full of confidence in this attack, but he did not expect that the Sun Heavenly Shield that Qin Yun suddenly released was so powerful that it was beyond his imagination. He knew that Qin Yun was very strong and he was full of scruples before. He would not make a move without full confidence. Once he made a move, he must succeed. Now that the Blue Fire King failed, he also imagined that if he really failed, he would be able to escape immediately with his strength. But right now, there was a gravitational force coming from all directions that was trapping him in space. The Blue Fire King of the Huoling Empire was a powerful king conferred by the Huoling Heavenly Emperor. In the entire Huoling Empire, other than the Heavenly Emperor, these kings were the strongest. But now, such a powerful attack from the Blue Fire King was easily blocked by Qin Yun. The most frightening thing was that such a powerful attack from the Blue Fire King did not cause any ripples. After Qin Yun blocked it, he would at least be knocked back or hit by the explosion. However, the sky was calm and the Blue Fire King's spear did not stir up any wind. This formidable power has been completely blocked by Qin Yun. He has been absolutely suppressed. When Qin Yun defeated General Bingyang, everyone knew that Qin Yun's strength was above the Empire's general, but at most, he was equal to the Empire's king. Now it seemed that Qin Yun's strength was still far beyond the Empire's king. He should be at the same level as the 4 Empires' king. Transcending the divine space realm? The Blue Fire King's face was full of fear. He was only at the 9th tier of the divine space realm. No matter how strong he was, he could not defeat someone whose realm was much higher than his. But in this universe, everyone's cultivation was limited to the divine universe realm. How was Qin Yun able to transcend realms? Furthermore, Qin Yun had only been at the 8th tier of the divine space realm before. In less than a month, he had already surpassed the divine space realm? Crown Prince Huoling was shocked. He knew that Qin Yun was very strong, but he did not expect that Qin Yun had surpassed the divine space realm. How did he do it? The army that the Blue Fire King had brought with him had been aggressive before, but in the blink of an eye, they had fled in fear. These warriors had all once surpassed the divine space realm, and they were well aware of just how weak they were when facing someone a realm higher than them. Azure Fire King was terrified. He wanted to surrender, but Qin Yun did not give him the chance. Qin Yun took the spear from the Sun Heavenly Shield and stabbed it several times. Every time he stabbed, a burst of flame burst out, killing the Blue Flame King who cultivates flame. What made Qin Yun more disappointed was that this Blue Flame King only had 2 divine sons, which were relatively ordinary. He directly put them into the Nether Sun Pearl to feed them. The Blue Flame King was killed just like that. It was even easier than killing General Bingyang. Once the news spread, it was even more sensational than the death of General Bingyang. This kind of sensation could once again shock the entire 9 Sun Holy Land. The various experts in the Holy Land could no longer sit still. The 4 great empires, many Taisha forces and kingdoms, as well as several strong clans in the Holy Land, all secretly contacted each other and then met for a meeting. Even the few giants of the universe god race participated in this meeting. Because Qin Yun had broken through the limit and entered a higher realm, but they had not. In the divine space realm, no matter how much they cultivated, it was difficult to reach the power beyond the divine space realm. Crown Prince Huoling was so scared that he handed the box to Qin Yun. There was a key in the box. As for what it was used for, Crown Prince Hualing did not know. This key was very precious. He had stolen it from the Great Mystery Star. Whether it was the Great Mystery Star or the Hualing Empire, they both valued this key very much. After Qin Yun got the key, he ordered Crown Prince Hualing to be beheaded the next day and then sent his head to the imperial city of the Hualing Empire. This news once again shocked the entire Nine-Sun Holy Land. Finally, an empire's crown prince was killed. Although Crown Prince Hualing's strength was far inferior to Blue Flame King's, he was still the crown prince of an empire. The execution of Crown Prince Hualing meant that the Divine Court Alliance was not afraid of any empires or Taisha forces. When everyone was limited to the Divine Space Realm, Qin Yun had broken through. This was undoubtedly exciting news for the entire Divine Court Alliance. Nine-Sun Holy Land, outside the great Luo Imperial City. Two graceful women floated in the air, looking at the magnificent Imperial City in front of them. Under the 8 myriad realms' divine suns, the Imperial City shone with a golden brilliance, looking even more magnificent. Qin Yun was beside the two women. He also looked at the Imperial City and frowned. The barrier is very strong. With my current strength, it will not be easy to break it. Luo Shu said, Your Excellency, you came here to kill the Crown Prince of Deluo. There is no need to attack the city. I have a few spies in the city. During this period of time, the entire Imperial City has been sealed. People can only enter but not leave. They also do not dare to use the magic mirror to send messages. Only I can go in and get their information, Luo Ye said, but it will be very difficult for me to enter. Long ago, Qin Yun had asked Luo Ye to help him keep an eye on the Crown Prince's movements in the Imperial City. Qin Yun did not take the initiative to find the Crown Prince because he wanted to wait until he was strong enough to enter the Imperial City and kill the Crown Prince. Only then could he cause a greater commotion. Your Excellency, the Crown Prince of Deluo is very cunning and suspicious. If we force our way in, he will definitely escape if he senses any movement. It will be even more difficult to kill him. Luo Shu said. I can sneak in. Qin Yun smiled. Miss Luo Shu, do you want to follow us in? No need, I will wait for the news of the Crown Prince's death. Luo Shu smiled and said, I wish you success. Qin Yun brought Luo Ye and flew towards the great Luo Imperial City. Luo Shu looked at Qin Yun's back and sighed. She had almost become enemies with Qin Yun. If she had not redeemed herself in time, she might have been killed by Qin Yun. She never would have imagined that Qin Yun would enter the Imperial City to kill the Crown Prince of Deluo. Chapter 3289. Although Luo Shu was marginalized, however, her Dark Shadow Pavilion still had many spies in the Imperial City, and these spies were all very outstanding. Long ago, Qin Yun had asked Luo Shu and Luo Ye to help him keep an eye on Crown Prince Deluo's movements in Imperial City. They were very concerned about this matter. But later on, the Imperial City became stricter and stricter, causing them to lose contact with the secret agents in the Imperial City. Qin Yun and Luo Ye arrived outside the Imperial City. Many people were waiting in front of the gate. Many of these people were from the Imperial City. After they left the city, they encountered martial law, so they were unable to enter the city. They could only release their houses and magic treasures outside the city and wait patiently. Those who could live in the Imperial City had to have a certain level of strength. The houses and magic treasures in their hands were also very luxurious, so one could see many luxurious large courtyards outside the city. Many of them are minor nobles of the empire. Even they can't enter the city. That just goes to show how strict Daluo Imperial City is. Luo Yaya had also changed her appearance to that of an ordinary woman. Qin Yun, on the other hand, changed his face shape and turned into a handsome young master. he brought Luo Yeya to stroll around the imperial city's barrier. The reason why the nobles in the imperial city left the city was to relax. Quite a number of people had originally planned to go outside the Holy Land to have some fun, hunting down powerful clansmen and invading the treasured land for fun. But later, the strong races outside the Holy Land joined the divine court of the myriad realms and became members of the alliance. It was very difficult for these aristocrats to attack the treasured land of the strong races, and they might even die inside. Many of the groups from the four empires and grand primes had been slain when they ventured outside the sacred land. The divine court of the myriad worlds captured many of these people and publicly executed them. The nobles of the empire went to the Holy Land to kill people just for fun. Now that they couldn't kill them, they could only run back. However, they happened to be caught up in the martial law period of the City of God, so they could not enter the city. Divine King, most of these guys killed people outside the Holy Land. Luo Yaya secretly transmitted her voice to Qin Yun and said, "Should we give them some punishment? I'm just afraid that it might alarm Daluo Imperial City and alert the Crown Prince." Qin Yun and Luo Yaya shuttled between the mansions. There were also many people strolling outside, so they were not eye-catching. "Of course we have to punish them, but we can't alert Grand Luo Imperial City," Qin Yun said. "I have to say that Great Luo Imperial City's barrier is really strong. It will take a lot of effort for me to sneak in." He walked around the Imperial City's barrier for a short distance and knew that it was very strong. Old Brother Taisher also said that it would take a lot of time to sneak in without anyone noticing. "Divine King, what do you plan to do?" Luo Yeya knew that Qin Yun's actions were always unexpected. In order to not be too surprised when the time came, she casually asked, "I plan to create chaos and see if the Imperial City will open its doors. If it does, then we will be able to sneak in." Qin, if I have Long Qi Imperial City," Yun said, "I sect, Luo Yang Imperial City Li." He no longer needed the divine universe goldstones to cultivate or replenish his energy. Instead, he relied on the divine sun in the nine suns' divine soul. His imperial heaven heart can absorb the divine sun power of the nine sun divine spirit, which can help him quickly recover his lost power. Previously, Luo Yaya had also thought of creating chaos outside the city to force the Luo Imperial City to open its gate. However, neither she nor Luo Shu had any good ideas. "Yaya, how do you think we should create chaos so that the Crown Prince of Daluo doesn't get suspicious? If this fellow knows that I'm outside the city, he will definitely hide. When that happens, I can only kill his avatar," said Qin Yun with a voice transmission. "Sister Shu and I have been thinking about it. There is only one way, but it is difficult to implement." Luo Yaya had a way, but it was not a good way. "Tell me about it." Qin Yun looked at the sky. It is already evening. He plans to make his move at night. In the Nine Sun Sacred Ground, the four empires and the Grand Prime organizations are on the same side. Although they don't usually work together and have minor conflicts from time to time, they're still very united on the surface. The reason why they are united is because they are afraid of the barbarians. The barbarians are very strong now, and their numbers are increasing. They are also new humans, Luo Yaya said. When Qin Yun heard what she said, he understood what her method was. It was to lure the barbarians here. This was indeed not a good idea. It was very difficult to achieve, but Qin Yun believed that it was doable. Before the barbarians evolved into new humans, their numbers were very small. The main reason was because it was difficult to reproduce. Now that they have become new humans, this shortcoming has been improved. Moreover, their reproductive ability has become stronger. Luoya continued, therefore, in the Nine Suns Sacred Ground, the four empires and the Grand Prime organizations can unite to fight against such a powerful enemy. Whether it is the Great Luo Empire or the Huoling Empire, They do not dare to attack the Vermilion Bird Treasure Ground and the White Tiger Treasure Ground because they are afraid of the barbarians taking advantage of the situation. The two factions in the Nine Sun Sacred Ground will definitely be hostile to each other. Since that is the case, the barbarians will definitely send people to the vicinity of the Four Empires' imperial cities to keep an eye on them. Qin Yun said. Similarly, the Four Empires will definitely send people to spy on the barbarian cities. Luo Yan nodded and said, the barbarians have a stronghold nearby. There should be many people hiding there. Now that the barbarians have evolved into new humans, it is very difficult to distinguish them. Therefore, once they mix into the crowd here, it is impossible to tell that they are barbarians. In the past, barbarians were very easy to distinguish. The reason why the Great Luo Imperial City suddenly imposed martial law might be to investigate the barbarians. They started a few days ago. At that time, I had not killed Crown Prince Huoling and the Blue Flame King. Qin Yun said, it seems that the barbarians pose a great threat to the Imperial City. If we can find a barbarian, then we will be able to understand the reason very quickly. On the road, Luo Yaya also paid attention to the people passing by. She did not find any barbarians. Luo Yaya could not see the difference, but Qin Yun could see that the power fluctuations of the two new humans were different. The power fluctuations of the barbarians were more violent. On the road just now, Qin Yun felt that the power fluctuations of the two people were rather special. He now brought Luo Yaya to find those two people. Soon, they arrived outside a small house. This small house also looked like a house magic tool. Could be seen that the barbarians evolved very quickly. They were already able to refine this kind of magic tool. It's here. Qin Yun transmitted his voice to Luo Yaya. Divine King, how did you see the difference? Luo Yaya is very curious. I felt it. After Qin Yun answered her, he walked over and knocked on the door. Mobile users, please visit. Chapter 3290. Qin Yun gently knocked on the door, but soon, he sensed a restless energy rippling inside the room. The barbarians were very vigilant. After all, they were outside the Imperial City and near their enemy's headquarters. They had to maintain the highest level of vigilance at all times. Qin Yun sensed that the barbarians are approaching, so he immediately told Luo Yaya to retreat and quickly leave. Qin Yun will not show mercy to barbarians. This was because the barbarians would also head out of the Holy Land to kill the powerful races outside the Holy Land. Moreover, their methods were extremely cruel. Now that the entire alliance of the Divine Court of Myriad Realms was united, the newcomers in the sacred grounds didn't dare to act recklessly outside the sacred grounds. Otherwise, if a treasure ground was attacked, reinforcements would arrive very quickly. Many barbarians were captured by the reinforcements of the Divine Court of the Myriad Realms when they attacked the barrier of the treasured land and were finally executed. Of course, the barbarians had also thought of fighting against the Court of Myriad Realms, but the headquarters of the Court of Myriad Realms was in the Four Godsons. At the same time, it was spread across several great treasures. It was very difficult to uproot the Court of Myriad Realms unless they destroyed the Four Godsons. Luo Yaya knew that Qin Yun was very strong. If he could easily kill Blue Fire King's people, it would be very easy for him to deal with a few barbarians. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and could see through the door. He could see a total of 10 barbarians in the room. Their body shape and appearance were no different from ordinary people. It was indeed difficult to distinguish them from each other. Who is it? Someone walked to the door and asked in a deep voice. I am a soldier of Luo Emperor City. Please open the door and cooperate with our investigation. Qin Yun deliberately used a very arrogant tone to shout. The barbarians were lurking within and outside the Imperial City in order to create chaos in Daluo Imperial City. During this period of time, they had indeed succeeded in creating chaos, but they were only small skirmishes. Now they were preparing to create a large-scale chaos. Now, when they heard that it was a warrior from Daluo Imperial City, they were incomparably shocked in their hearts. That was because they thought that they had hidden themselves very well, and that it was impossible for them to be discovered. Now that they had been discovered, they only had one way to go, and that was to fight their way out. Although they were confident that they could hide very well, they had discussed what to do if they were discovered. With the personality of the barbarians, they would definitely start fighting immediately. Qin Yun waited for a while, but the door still did not open. Then, he used the mysterious penetration divine ability to quietly pass through. Barbarian race's usage of inscription is very backward. They don't have any formation, so when Qin Yun sneaked in, they didn't discover him. What surprised Qin Yun was that the barbarians in the house were all in the hall, discussing how to cooperate in battle. They were all very calm. Let's not go out for the time being. This house is very sturdy, he won't be able to get in. A middle-aged man said. The other party seems to be alone. Why don't we just open the door and kill him? No, we have to capture him and interrogate him to find out how he discovered us. He might not have noticed us. He's just knocking on the doors one by one. So what do we do now? Should he open the door or not? After opening the door, should he kill that guy? What if he comes in and discovers who we are? Then, with the magic mirror, the news will spread quickly. The 10 barbarians were discussing whether or not to open the door. Qin Yun found it somewhat funny. These barbarians were really confident. They actually thought that this broken house was very sturdy. Just as they were seriously discussing, Qin Yun suddenly appeared and released supergravity. The barbarians were immediately pressed to the ground. The tables and chairs in the hall were also crushed into powder in an instant. You rats are hiding quite comfortably, aren't you? While speaking, Qin Yun stomped on a middle-aged man. He directly released intense flame and stomped on him, turning him into ashes. The barbarians here are all stunned. They are now lying on the ground and struggling. This person is very strong, his strength is far above them. This means that he is very close to the 4 kings and 9 generals. Facing this kind of person, this barbarian squad is not his match. If you kill one of us, we will kill 10,000 of you. A barbarian shouted in anger. Ha ha ha, so what if I kill all of you? No one will know that you rats died here. Qin Yun laughed loudly, then walked over and stomped another one to death. This completely angered the other 8 barbarians. They are now frantically releasing their power, trying to break free from Qin Yun's supergravity. Qin Yun did not release supergravity with all his strength, otherwise he would have directly crushed them to death. He deliberately pretended to be unstable to let these barbarians feel that they can break free. You will definitely regret it. A barbarian's body suddenly burst out a burst of blood mist. Qin Yun is secretly apprehensive. These barbarians can actually enter this berserk state and then increase their divine cosmos power by several times. Regret? What do you mean? Qin Yun chuckled and stomped another 2 to death. The remaining barbarians have completely gone berserk. As if they have lost their reason, their bodies swelled up and became like wild beasts. Barbarians who have transformed into new humans are even stronger than before, especially after entering this berserk state. Qin Yun immediately retracted his supergravity and said with sneer, "You guys are awesome. Just you wait, today, none of you can escape." After he finished speaking, he immediately used Void Step to leave. The remaining barbarians have already entered berserk state. They directly destroyed their house, and then rushed out in all directions. What caused Qin Yun to be even more astonished is that these barbarians' bodies have become several times bigger. They are like several meter-tall giant beastmen, crazily roaring and randomly attacking. Furthermore, their roars are very penetrating, as if they are fluctuating with soul wave to call out to their companions. Qin Yun found Luo Yaya and immediately brought her away from the barbarians. These guys are really scary. Qin Yun brought Luo Yaya to watch from afar and said with mischievous smile, "There are many nobles outside the city. Although they can't enter the city, their strength is not weak. Now they know that barbarians have appeared. Divine King, these barbarians are quite high level. After entering berserk state, the bigger their body is, the better their bloodline is, the higher their status is." Luo Yaya said, "Just a few barbarians, I don't know how long they can cause trouble. Will the Emperor City's gate open?" Qin Yun looked at the small door under the gate. "If they open the gate, it will be the door that allows people to enter. Don't worry, the barbarians in the vicinity will soon come to support," Luo Yaya said. Sure enough, just as she finished speaking, she heard roars coming from all directions. These are the roars of barbarians after entering berserk state. Their penetrating power is very strong. Mobile users, please visit Chapter 3291. Qin Yun heard the violent roars coming from afar and was quite surprised. These barbarians are really not afraid of death. This is outside the great Luo imperial city. There are so many powerful warriors and experts in the city. Starting a war outside the city is very irrational. Of course, Qin Yun needs them to be irrational. The more barbarians participate in the battle, the better. Because he can only mix in when it is very chaotic. Yaya, are these guys not afraid of death? Qin Yun looked at the giant barbarians and felt somewhat puzzled. He always felt that things are not that simple. Of course not. According to the information we have, barbarians are very difficult to kill. Their body structure is very special, especially after entering the berserk state. They are not afraid of pain or death. Luo Yaya said, "Now that they have become new beginning humans, this ability has become even stronger. The four empires and other Taisha powers in the Holy Land, as well as some powerful races, have also taken in the barbarian bloodline and fused them into new beginning humans. Do they also have this ability?" Qin Yun asked. "They don't have this ability, but their divine universe power has indeed increased and their bodies have also been improved. The difference between them and the barbarians is that they can't enter the berserk state and are still afraid of pain." Luo Yaya said, "How can this be? In comparison, after becoming new beginning humans, their improvement is not that great." Qin Yun did not understand the changes of new beginning humans before. The improvement of new beginning humans on the Empire's side is mainly in the aspect of soul and mental power. However, this kind of improvement does not give them much strength. Or in other words, they are still unable to display it because their cultivation is limited. Luo Yaya said. At this moment, more and more barbarians came to help. In the blink of an eye, there are hundreds of them. They all rushed outside the city gate and crazily attacked the houses and magic treasures. Some of the people outside the city fled, while others fought back angrily because their houses were destroyed. These people are all people with some status in the imperial city. But because they can't enter the city, they have no choice but to fight with the barbarians. At this moment, they also hate the imperial city for not opening the gate at this time. The barbarians did not fear death and were extremely violent. However, the Emperor City's people were much weaker. As such, the tens of thousands of Emperor City's people were being beaten up by hundreds or thousands of barbarians. There were already people from the Emperor City who were killed. A middle-aged man was suddenly grabbed by the huge barbarian and his body was crushed alive. Although his soul managed to escape, it was shattered by the red light shot out from the barbarian's eyes. This isn't a good thing for Luo Empire. The next battlefield is between the barbarians and the great Luo Empire's soldiers. Divine King, since these aristocrats are useless, we should take this opportunity to kill some of them. If these aristocrats continue to die, Their hatred towards the great Luo Empire will only deepen. After she finished speaking, she added, "Just now, I saw some aristocrats with some slaves. They should be captured from outside, we can save them in passing." The group of aristocrats are now scattered, but Qin Yun can quickly find them. They did not go far because they are still waiting for the Empire's gates to open. Qin Yun opened his heavenly eye and can see even further. He can quickly find out which aristocrats have slaves and which don't. Luo Yeya is also following behind Qin Yun. After Qin Yun killed those aristocrats, she will rescue the people outside the Holy Land. In the night, Qin Yun is like a ghost. Using nether sun power, he can easily hide in the darkness. Coupled with void crossing step, he can instantly kill his target after locking onto them from a distance. The battle between the Empire's soldiers and the barbarians is very intense, the movement is very big. The fleeing aristocrats are floating in the air, watching the battle from a distance. They are all scattered, so they do not know that their numbers are decreasing. Qin Yun only attacked a portion of the aristocrat. He is afraid that killing all of them will arouse the suspicion of the great Luo Crown Prince. These aristocrats went outside the Holy Land and not only killed the people outside, they also captured some special powerful people and made them slaves. Qin Yun is now specifically targeting these aristocrats to kill. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.